Nice. It's 12:05 p.m. and I'm an hour late, and I apologize, but that's because I needed to get a lift in before I leave Paris, France. I see Paris, I see France, I see HasanAbi's underpants. I found this in my closet. It's a Teletubbies pride hat, bucket hat. And it's the closest I can arrive at the Trafalgar Law bucket hat that I was looking for. You know what I mean? Turns out I already have it. Even though he doesn't wear a bucket hat, he wears like that ugly ass, fuzzy, big ass hat. But yeah, I'm live and alive, folks, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a good one. This is part of the broadcast where I tell you a little bit about my personal news, about what's going on in my life, about what's happening in the HasanAbi extended universe. Thank you for making a Threads account. Why are you thanking me for that? I mean, it's like, it's whatever. It's not. I'm a fucking crack addict. So, not a good thing. It's a bad thing. Bad cosplay? Yeah, I don't really care. I don't really care what you think. I'm not doing cosplay. My hair is wet. So, folks, we're live and alive, and this is for all the parasocialists. I think you're already shadow banned on Threads. I can't find your account. That's funny. Elon wants to sue Meta. Good luck to Elon. Let them fight, as always. When billionaires fight, we all win. They should just fight to the death. Anyway, folks. This is going to be a short stream today. I'll let you know, because I'm flying. I'm going to be taking flight. And I'm going to be leaving the Aussies behind. I'm going to be leaving... I'm going to be leaving Kaya behind. Unfortunately. Take him in your pocket? Yeah. Can I ask where you're gone? Going to Paris? Being gone for a while? You haven't had a long stream in weeks? What? First of all, I'm going to Paris not because I want to go to Paris, okay? I never want to go to Paris. Not a thing I like doing. Even though I did hear that Playboy Cardi's out there. Maybe he's out there just, you know, to riot. I should just tell people that's why I'm going out there too. I'm going out there to riot. Anyone who says I haven't been doing long streams any longer is out of their mind, by the way. I mean, that's insane. That's insanity. Cardi sucks now because he was mean to Nardwar. Oh, okay. You better not go to the Precious Americans aren't hard enough for that shit. Sure. TwitchCon EU. Gonna say Nardwar is a god. Fuck you, chat. I mean, I've always been a little creeped out by him, but I think he means well. I think being mean to him is like kind of odd. It's like bullying the you know, special needs kid at school. Like, you're a bad person. I'm not saying he is, but Like, it's fucked up. Why would you do that? Be nice. Anyway, oh my God, you're on the list now? What list? Are you gonna be a freak again and stream at 7 a.m. Paris time? No, I don't even know. I can't. What fucking list are you talking about? All the hip hop fans are being weeded, lol. There's a Nardawar list. Like he has a hit list out there. He's gonna fucking kill Playboy Cardi. Why am I talking about this? Anyway. I have a 16-week demon puppy. Please tell me it gets better soon. Yes, Kaya and her journey has been evidence for all. I hope that, you know, it does get better. She was a fucking absolute freak demon in the beginning. She was genuinely awful. Just stream after the con. So I will be streaming. I will be streaming at the convention. I will be streaming at the convention. Oh shit, the Aussie Boys are here. Hey, how's your meeting? Good? How's it going? Anyway, I ended the broadcast last night, and we went to play a little bit of basketball where we tried to fucking complete unsuccessfully an around the world session. Literally for like 3 hours, we tried to play one game of around the world, and neither of us could actually make enough buckets in a row, so we just couldn't finish it. So we finally gave up. So then I had to do a little bit more cardio. So I 1v1'd Aleksa. He beat me. He beat me mercilessly. It was terrible. Did you get new cables for the camera? I'm using the old one, which is working. Really? No, of course not really. Why would you believe that? You fucking... I know my monitors are visible on the Kaya cam. Can the Aussies dunk? Alex can, actually. Alex can dunk. Aleksa cannot. Anyway, what was I gonna say? So we did that. We watched... I started watching Braveheart for the first time in my life, and I'm not gonna lie, it was a bit underwhelming. I hope nobody gets mad at me for this. I know it's like a classic, but it's like a bit underwhelming when you watch it with like today's eyes and today's tastes. It comes across as like kind of underwhelming. Like it's not as good as everyone fucking promoted it. You know what I mean? But you see how it could be good back in the day? Yeah, it's just, I mean, first of all, I love that it's like, I love that it's kind of funny where like the English are gay and bad, and the Scottish are macho, like big manly men, and they're like throwing rocks at each other for fun. And in my mind I was like, damn, I feel like they just kind of owned the Scottish a little bit in this movie, where they're like making them look, they're supposed to be like cool barbarian guys, but like like the British being gay and evil is funny, and I'm on board with that, right? But like the moment where they like, the iconic moment where they like pull up their skirts to show their dicks and then pull up their skirts to show their asses while they're getting fucking brutally ripped apart by British arrows. I was like, why are you doing that? Thought it aged fine, but yeah, some slow parts for sure. Yeah, and it's like one of those 3-hour movies that absolutely could have been a 2-hour movie. Uh-oh, people are gonna get mad at skirts. I mean kilts. Anyway, I got your blast off Oni Spumoni. I'm gonna use that. So we watched that together. I think Scottish people are cooler than Braveheart, is what I mean. Like, that's my analysis on it. Like, I have a better perspective of Scottish people than the way Braveheart presented them. Does that make sense? Like, that's why I was watching it. I was thinking, like, that's kind of, I don't know. They just didn't look as cool. And Mel Gibson's accent was weird. But anyway, regardless, I don't know how I'm going to make it through Oppenheimer. 3 hours with no pauses is absurd. I agree. Scots are better than the English. That's a very low bar. They clear it, but that's a low ass bar. Found out that Mel Gibson has an honors, like one of the highest honors you can get in Australia. I think they just, like, the Australian military was like, we love how anti-Semitic you are. Please, sir. Here's an honor for your bravery. Are you on the new Threads app? I am, but I'm not gonna blast off on there. I'm an Irish bitch. I'm gonna have to disagree. The Scots are that lame. Lol. I mean, Irish people are cooler than Scottish people. Binge this Bear season 1 on your way to Paris. It's amazing. I already did. I'm gonna binge season 2 on my way to Paris. I've already downloaded it. Way ahead of you. I tried to get into Spy Family as well last time when I was going to Japan. It, like, didn't really hit that hard, but whatever. Twitter versus Threads. Anyway, let's fucking blast off. Yeah, I mean, the Aussie SAS did war crimes in Afghanistan to make American forces look like literal paragons of virtue. No, it doesn't make American forces look like paragons of virtue. But they did do some American-ass fucking war crimes. That's for sure. Are you going to be watching Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2? Yeah, but I'll probably do the same thing I did last time and wait. All right, we're blasted. We're blasted off. We're popping. I don't have too much time today, so I'm just gonna, like, go through a bunch of stuff. Did you finish Silo? I did not like Silo. I know Will loved Silo, and I did not like Silo. I thought it was, like, so basic and so dumb. And I love dystopian tech, future dystopia. This says a lot about society type movies, you know what I mean, and TV shows. I'm actually a huge fan of that. And even, like, the big reveal and the promise of a big reveal wasn't enough to, like, keep me captivated, because I could not get over, I don't know, just a lot of the stuff just didn't make sense to me at all. Have you seen the Warrior series on HBO? One of the best shows I've ever watched. Wait, is that, like, the one in Chinatown, San Francisco? You want to be like Cardi B so bad? No, I want to be like Playboy Cardi so bad. Blast off on Threads, homie. I'm not doing that. The lizard person airport freak out. Wait, is there an update on it? Very weird. The unseen angle. Okay, I can't wait for the lizard person shit. Are you down with the bear? I love the bear. Yeah, I heard it's good. It's so good. I'm gonna start Warrior soon too. It got picked up by HBO Max for season 3. I saw that. I didn't realize there was a fucking season 1 and season 2. I also didn't realize that Righteous Gemstones season 3 came out. Like, there's a lot of fucking shows out there that I feel like they're not doing a good enough job promoting when it comes out. But anyway, yeah, we got Twitter v Threads. We got some conversations around that. I'm about to finish Yakuza Kiwami, so I'm very excited about that. I'll be getting into Yakuza Kiwami 2. Stoked on that. Have you seen BoJack Horseman? Not dystopian or anything, but cool. Okay, everybody stop recommending shows to me. I am the show guy. I recommend shows to you, okay? You want me to fucks? Oh, I bet. Currently going through Yakuza. Yes, that's what I'm doing. And it's so much fun. But, what was I gonna say? Did you hear the Ocean Gate audio? There's audio? No, I haven't. But fucking, I would love to hear that. You didn't like beef, so everything you say is wrong? I didn't like beef. I love Bear, if that's what you're talking about. Oh, Netflix show Beef. Yeah, I didn't like it that much. I loved Bear though. The Bear was great. Good. Oh, you want to come on, dude? You got the itch, dude. You love streaming now. Off the lens off your camera. Your camera's here. Without the non-lensed one. Yeah, bro. Pull up, bro. Bro, pull up, bro. Here you go, bro. How's it going?
How's it going? It's good.
How's it going? It's good.
Did you finish watching Braveheart last night?
No, I went to sleep immediately. I was talking about how you loved it. Okay,
I loved it as a kid. I thought it was a anti-colonial masterpiece.
Yeah, he was telling me how.
Reading.
Yeah, he was telling me how he had like a paper mache sword. Like he made like a sword.
After I watched the movie as like a 11-year-old, I immediately like made a giant sword out of paper mache and just changed ethnicities. I just stopped being Serbian. I was just Scottish for a good year.
Yeah.
Tried to like make myself a little kilt. I was obsessed.
Ooh, I like this. Okay.
Hasan had a different interpretation.
I watched it. I watched it with like my own, like today's eyes. You know what I mean? And I think Scottish people are way cooler than the way Braveheart presents them. Like, I mean, there were funny things like about how, the British are gay and evil.
yeah, they're
gay. Like that was a point. That was a big point in the movie.
Yeah.
That like the British, they're gay and they're also interested in having sex with Scottish women that they should not.
Yeah, the only time they're not having sex with men is when they're having sex with Scottish women.
Yeah. And that is frustrating for the Scots. And then Scottish people are like monkeys who throw rocks at each other for fun. Like they literally, I mean, RRR is like, for example, significantly better.
Yeah.
Than Braveheart, in my opinion, as like an anti-colonial, anti-British masterpiece.
I think it's just because Braveheart was like 95, so back then it was like really cool to be like aggressively masculine and try to crush each other with rocks. Like that was just like tomfoolery. Yeah, men don't crush each other with rocks anymore. I
don't know. I found it to be like kind of stupid that they were fucking
like
throwing rocks at one another to
constantly knocking each other out. Like everyone just punches each other in the head and then they get up and laugh. And
they'd be like, oh, fuck out of here, dude. That'll hurt in the morning. Yeah. Really historically inaccurate film. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like, I didn't watch it because I was like, wow, this is exactly what happened.
Well, the movie's also so long.
Yeah.
There's just like every scene's twice as long as it needs to go. So I found like there was just a lot of downtime to Google the historical facts while watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of it's really accurate.
Yeah, it's all right. It's whatever.
It's fun.
But wait, you're actually going to Paris? Why wouldn't I? Wombo Kumbo. Why would I not do that? But yeah, I am going. The Aussie Boys are gonna take care of Kaya. Murat's girlfriend is gonna take care of Kaya as well. What? RR sucks. Your worst take according to me. The director redid history to take Muslims out beyond adding magic realism. Okay. For what? Why are we going to Paris? Guys, I love you all, but like, I don't know how many times I have to like explain things that I'm doing, and there's still like so much confusion surrounding what I'm doing. I'm going to Paris because TwitchCon EU is in Paris. Okay. I'm going to Paris because I'm a Twitch employee, technically. And one of my contractual stipulations is that I have to attend the cons. Now, I personally like it because I love meeting fans, okay? I love meeting you guys, and TwitchCon EU is a great opportunity to meet a bunch of you guys that can't make it out to America, okay? That's why I'm going. And I've explained it so many times, and it just feels so odd. It's like context cues, whatever the fucking word is. Just, think about it. Like, why would Hasan go and travel immediately after coming back from Japan? Why would he do that? You know what I mean? Why would he do that? What is the reason? What could be the reason? Please don't say what is TwitchCon. Please don't say that. You're obviously visiting your gay lover in Paris. Yes, my gay lover is already in Paris. Austin is already there. Because they get in here and within 10 seconds they're all like, bro, explain. You definitely haven't explained it. Yeah. We know it's TwitchCon. I'm asking because Paris is kind of on fire, homie. No. That's not a real thing, okay? That's like thinking that if you go to Portland, Oregon, you will not be able to, like, I don't know, go to the bank or something when you visit Portland, Oregon because it's on fire.
You saw that French guy doing the croissant reviews during the protests?
He was Italian, I think. But I love that. I love that video, yeah. Are you farming dumb people, lol? What do you mean? No, I don't think that. I do not think that Paris is on fire. Okay. But yes, I will be at. I loved it. That's funny. This is awesome. Not only has AustinShow added himself onto my meet and greet, they put his name before mine on the meet and greet. So now it's like I'm added onto his meet and greet. The AustinShow and HasanAbi meet and greet will be happening Saturday at 12 p.m. It will be a 2-hour meet and greet. The tickets ran out immediately, I think. That's so funny. Is Marat coming with you? No, he's not. He is a real adult with a real adult job. Okay? This is pretty funny, though. The AustinShow and / HasanAbi meet and greet. Do you think you will be welcomed in France with what you said about the great replacement? I think people just think you're a racist dude now. That is the funniest fucking take. Assuming that people in France will literally they heard and misunderstood what I said about how French people believe the great replacement is happening, and they actually watch me that much. Like, that many French people watch me, and they know, and they got mad about it, and they now think I'm a racist person, even though the average French person literally does believe the great replacement. Even if you misunderstood what I was saying, if the average French person misunderstood what I was saying about, like, le great replacement, they would probably like me more, because they would say, hey, this Hasan guy, he is le Muslim, but actually he's got some good ideas about le great replacement. Hey Hasan, stay away from the Falkland Islands if you know what's good, bro. We heard what you said about our war. I'm from France and we do hate you. Okay, great. Well, there is one Frenchman who hit me up who doesn't hate me. This is a large French content creator who wanted to link up. They started an esports team as well. Hold on, I'm gonna look up his name again. He was like, oh, I'm gonna be in LA. Let's link up. And I was like, brother, I'm gonna be in France like tomorrow. His name is xsqueezie, not Kameto, no. But I would definitely link up with him too. No, not XQC. His name is xsqueezie. Okay.
That's pretty close.
I know. Not even coming up.
I think you're getting scammed, Hasan.
Oh, I wrote it wrong. Bro, this dude has 18 million subscribers, okay? Yeah.
Sacre bleu.
Yeah. Sacre bleu. This is the dude, and they have a he has an esports organization as well. He is our local PewDiePie. Oh, nice. Well, I'm gonna link up with him. He's big. He also created a comic book. Yeah. There's a big left French community like Backseat and Usul Media Part. The youths love you for sure. I'm French Canadian, so I consume US politics and French politics. Nice. But we're gonna be linking up. So wild to me how French and Spanish streamers have been fully embraced by their countries as celebrities. Yeah, it's funny because like chat's like who Omega lol. Meanwhile, this dude is like one of the biggest content creators in France apparently, and he's popping. And you guys are like, oh, I don't know what he does. Like, oh, I'm not a fucking. I only listen to American content creators. I don't care. HasanAbi Common L. Oh yeah, Slavoj Žižek came out with another fucking idiotic take. You
I
see
read
this
one today.
But to be fair, he is like he's always been like more of a let the government do its stuff. He's not like an anarchist by any means. You know what I mean? But this is a pretty funny way. He's just like, I don't know. This is happening to all of our faves. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. He lost me with the Peterson debate.
Wait, you didn't like the Peterson debate? I loved it when he was like, "Where are the Marxists?
Where are the Marxists?" No, but it's just weird because Peterson was like so obviously an imbecile, and Žižek was more like focused on just like his own esoteric theories rather than just like basic Marxism.
Yeah, I mean, he could have definitely gone harder. He could have just like schooled him a little bit on that.
The guy hadn't read it.
You are such a fucking leftist nerd, dude. I swear to God.
Also, I don't like Slavoj Žižek because he was part of the Liberal Party of Slovenia back when Yugoslavia was perfect and didn't need any other parties.
Yeah, I agree. True. Oh, man. So, where was I? I forgot what the fuck I was talking about. Žižek is normally okay, but lately he's just been having shit opinions.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always been an interesting guy. He has some good takes and some bad ones. You know, I don't know. When you write 7,000 books, you're bound to have bad takes.
Also,
you know what I mean?
His books are different. Like I don't know. I read 2 of his books and they were like not anything to do with anything like remotely related to real life. It was all like really vague philosophy, and that's like fine for that genre. But I think his public persona is more just like really weird hot takes.
Žižek takes the London riots.
Oh, like ages.
That's from 8 years ago. Oh, your mic cable is loose.
Ah, fuck.
I don't know what's going on here. The immigration take is more than just bad. Yeah, he's like, bro, he is literally a typical Eurocentric left liberal, left leaning guy. Okay? He is like, if anything, you definitely can criticize him for that. Like he has always been like a what's the take for it? Is it like pan-Euro supremacist? I don't know.
No, I don't even know. It's just that he was funny is the thing. He had tics and he talked about gross stuff.
Yeah. And also has like a sexy ass wife. Despite looking like a dumpster diving raccoon. Oh, that's Sierra. Thought it was Will this whole time. I like the Perverts guide a lot. Yeah, I mean, I think his like ideology guides are good. Ideology. Why are all philosophers like this? Žižek, Cornel West, etc. Cornel West is not like that. What do you mean? Cornel West is not...
President Cornel West.
Yeah, okay, first of all, Cornel West has always been like kind of wild, but I don't think he's ever had like takes other than launching a campaign with the People's Party, the real Marxist alternative in the United States of America, defending the only Marxist content creator, Jimmy Dore. But other than that, he's never he's running on the green ticket now, and but other than that, he's never been like never been that bad. Counterpunch had an interesting article on him. Capitalism's court jester, Slavoj Žižek. I love Counterpunch. Do you fuck with Counterpunch?
Nice.
It's like my favorite type of like angry left wing and oftentimes conspiracy adjacent content creators. Remember when that nice French person yesterday suddenly said the cause of the riots are black Arabs? Be careful. Oh yeah, that was really funny. Huh? Yesterday I tried to play the American, the insane like 6 Days in Fallujah game that came out with like, they basically are presenting it like a documentary about why America had to go to Iraq to defeat ISIS, which, you know, certainly was a real thing. And we didn't create it.
Wait, so ISIS was there before America, right? It was Saddam Hussein and ISIS together.
Okay, first of all, they literally presented, I'm not even kidding, as though the war in Iraq 2004. Al-Baghdadi or what was it? Is it Al-Baghdadi? What the fuck was his name? The fucking, I don't even remember.
That's the ISIS guy.
Because the fucking ISIS guy, Al-Zarqawi, sorry, the guy who, the mastermind behind ISIS that we certainly did not handpick to identify as like the most clear and present threat to United States interests. Anyway, he they make it seem like we knew that he was like creating ISIS or that he had created ISIS already, and that's why we had to go to Iraq. They literally skip an entire year. And they also mix and match too.
How do you get all?
Oh, no, they literally have like real life live action documentary sequences interlaced between like video game footage where you go in and your mic is fucked again.
Oh fuck, what's going on? It looks like it's in.
Really? Is it? Wait, speak.
Hello.
No, it's fine.
Coming up here.
No, it's fine. It's crackling.
Maybe that's just my voice.
No. On. All right, speak now.
How does this sound? Crackly? Not crackly?
Is it still?
Just crackly enough.
It's better, right? It's just don't touch it, I think. All right, much better. All right, I love that they don't go, it's fixed. They go, it's better. Like, bitch, it's fixed, okay? Just say it's fixed. Don't say it's better. Say it's fixed. Not crackly anymore. Thank you so much, Hasan. We appreciate everything you do for us. Aw, that's very nice. But yeah, anyway, I was playing this fucking game, right? And there's a French guy who's playing in Milsim. I'm sure you're not very familiar with this, but like Milsim, military simulation games are known for having like kind of, yee ass, gung ho ass, right wing ass motherfuckers who play it, right?
For sure.
A lot of like veterans play it, actually. I don't know why. They're like, I couldn't get enough of this in the real world, so now I want to play it in a video game. But it's also like a bit of a recruitment tool. Anyway, so I'm playing with this fucking what?
No.
I don't know what the fuck this is. Why do you guys send me shit like this? Okay. I'm playing with this guy, and basically I start like I tell him I tell him that I'm from Texas and I'm like some yee ass motherfucker, and he gets really excited. He's like, La Confederate. He's like, Confederate? Very good. You know? And then I was like, I started asking him, like, what he thinks about... I started asking him what he thinks about, like, the riots. And he straight up said, in French, the riots are being done by blacks and Muslims, and I hate them. And they are in the ghettos. I hate them. So, you know. He said, it's the Arabs and the blacks. Also, I don't like Muslims. Yeah. So it was wild. He tried to talk about the American Civil War, but his English was so bad.
Wait, weren't the French on the north side for the American Civil War? No, they were out. They were doing their own thing.
Yeah.
I got my wars mixed up.
Well, if anything, like, even the British were, like, technically, due to their own interest in the Revolutionary War, on the side of abolition. But that was, you know, that's because they just hate America and what America stands for, which happens to be slavery.
Yeah.
Preserving, maintaining slavery. Brits were on the side of the South for a while. That's... What? I think we're talking... In the Revolutionary War, the British were quite literally portraying the role of abolitionists. Oh, they needed cotton.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do, you know? Most European countries supported the Confederacy because they relied on cotton. And they were hoping the United States would fall apart so they could enter and pick up the scraps. Yeah, guess what, baby? You couldn't. You know what I'm saying? You fucking couldn't. How'd that work out, bitch? Apparently, I saw this on Twitter, but like in the UK in Parliament, they were celebrating 4th of July by like... There was like a 4th of July inclusive American cuisine that day or something at the cafeteria. They were serving burgers and fries.
What?
And someone was very upset about that. I don't know where I found it. Someone can find it.
They celebrate the collapse of the
But they don't really celebrate it, but they're just like...
Wait, so there are like what British MPs that are like we should have the British Empire, the America should be part of the Commonwealth again. Is that a take? Is that why they're upset about the burgers?
I bet it was Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Yeah.
No, I think they were upset because like they were claiming that it was a war against the British, and it's fucked up that they like did not sit idly by and allow the empire to continue its reign. More like don't celebrate our biggest L, that type of thing. Traitors, I didn't celebrate shit. Ate a cheeseburger at Mickey D to show solidarity. Apparently Threads is a no-go for sex workers. Oh, damn. Anyway, what the fuck was I saying? Anyone found the OceanGate audio yet? That sounds fun. There's an American-born MP. What?
As a conservative.
Joyce Rebecca Joy Moore. I mean, of course. An American-born British politician who serves as a Conservative member of Parliament in Beaconsfield in Buckinghamshire since 2019. Morrissey achieved ministerial rank as an assistant government whip and has served in that role since July 2022 under 3 prime ministers. Morrissey grew up in the United States, moving into the United Kingdom in 2008 to attend the London School of Economics.
Meant to be a left-wing institution.
Morrissey undertook humanitarian aid work in Albania, Kosovo, China, and India, helping refugees working in an orphanage.
Australian now?
No, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. It's just... I mean, Boris Johnson is literally an American Ottoman son. You know Boris Johnson is Ottoman.
No.
Oh my God, you didn't know this? Bro, Boris Johnson literally is Turkish. How did you not know this? Yeah.
Ali Kemal
Bey.
What?
Yeah, this is like great grandpappy.
No.
Bro. His son, Boris Johnson, Kemal's grandson, became the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Yeah. It's not even a joke. After the First World War, Kemal's half-English daughter, Selma, returned her Turkish surname of Kemal and also took Turkish nationality. She married Reginald St. John Battersby, and their son, Anthony Battersby, served in the Royal Marines, became an architect, health planner, and spent most of his career working as a public health consultant for various UN agencies.
Maybe your great-grandson or granddaughter will be president of the United States.
Maybe. Dude, the Ottomans are everywhere. Fucking be on the lookout. Where's my tea, Battersby? Yeah. Get me my pipe.
Battersby.
Yeah, this is real, dude. Look, Boris Johnson's Turkish great-grandfather was...
What? He was beaten to death.
He was exiled before being beaten to death. Just like Boris, the Prime Minister's great-grandfather, was also a journalist before launching his political career.
What were his takes to have him beaten to death?
Dude, Turkish people don't fuck around, dog. They'll beat the shit out of journalists on a regular basis. He was the editor of a newspaper called İktam, which was known for its opposition to the rulership of the then Ottoman Sultan Abdülhamit II. At its height, it was one of the most popular publications in the Ottoman Empire. Due to its staunch opposition to the Sultan, Ali Kemal spent a significant amount of his life in exile.
Well, they just sent him back.
Yeah. They got married in Paddington. 5 years later, Ali was returned to Turkey after the Sultan was deposed in a coup by a group of Ottoman military generals called the Young Turks. But the leaders of the new regime were no more friendly towards Ali Kemal and his views than the previous, and Ali once again found himself in opposition with his Liberal Union Party. The party elected him as their Istanbul representative. In that same year, the Times newspaper speculated that Ali Kemal would challenge a seat for justice minister. The Times described him as one of the leading men of letters in Turkey, an excellent speaker and personally very popular, but his return to Turkey only lasted a year before he was once again forced to flee to England when loyalists of the deposed Sultan Abdülhamit II launched a counter-revolution against the Young Turks. His second spell in England was a mixed experience of joy and tragedy. He witnessed the birth of his son Osman Wilfred, who was Boris Johnson's paternal grandfather, but shortly afterwards he suffered the loss of his beloved wife Winifred, who died of illness.
Just illness.
Yeah. In 1912, after the Young Turks managed to reconsolidate their power and once again oust Sultan Abdülhamit II, Ali Kemal decided to give life in his home country one last shot. This time, he enjoyed a relatively less troublesome return, even briefly becoming the empire's interior minister in 1919.
Wait, what side were the Turks on in World War I? Or did they just chill?
Oh no, they were.
So he was fighting the British.
They were very much. They were very much aligned with the Germans, and the way that they teach it in Turkey is like, although we won all of our land battles, and then maybe know a little bit of stuff, in the eastern regions that they call a lie. Okay, I don't, but that's how they teach it. Don't yell at me. But although the Ottoman Empire and the Turks, like, they won all of their land battles, technically, they still ended up losing because the Germans lost. That's the way they describe it. Of course, they incurred heavy losses as well in general. Like North Africa being some of the more famous ones, but they forfeited a lot of land. But there is a silver lining. The second time the Germans came around and were like, "Hey, we're gonna do another world war. You want to join?" The Turks were like, "Oh no, nah, we're good, man. We're fucking good." Your video about popular Korea is great. What? Popular Korea? But they stood against Australia and Gallipoli. Yes. Obviously, we ripped the Anzac forces into fucking shreds because the British, the English dogs, they fucking sent them over allegedly to the wrong beach.
Yeah.
And they just got fucking ripped to shreds.
What's wild about that is that, like, we've got Anzac Day in Australia to commemorate this kind of stuff. But it's like, it's the perfect anti-war event, but it's used to be like we should do it again. Like we should just, you know,
but
do
like
what the Empire says.
Just die in the Turkish beaches again for some fucking British asshole.
It's so bizarre. Like everything about it is anti-war, but somehow it's still used to justify it.
Don't want to talk too much shit, but Suleiman, the first couldn't even take Malta in 3 months. The Ottomans had some real stinkers of battle sometimes. Yeah, I mean, it happens, you know. It's a long empire spanned across a lot of land. Sometimes you're going to fucking lose a little bit. I mean, look at America.
Well, they're trying to
They've lost all their fucking wars, and yet they're still dominant. What do you say?
Are they trying to take Malta from the British?
Oh, no. I don't even know. Oh, this is a good speech about the fallen Australian soldiers, about the Johnnies and the Mehmeds. Your meet and greet is full already? Yeah, it was. The Turks have been on the downside since Vienna. That is true. Ottomans went from ruling the world to being a piece of furniture. I mean, they say the gates of Vienna is where the Ottomans were stopped, and it is true. And that did happen. It's
also how croissants were invented.
I thought it's the crescent, the other crescent pastry that they have. Is that
it's not a croissant. It's not
a croissant. It's
shit.
It's actually way more mid than a croissant in my opinion. What is it called? It's still a crescent, but it's different. Is it Kip Farrell? Is that? I don't know how you. I've had it before. I don't like it. I went to Austria.
Yeah. I mean, they can be all right. It's like a.
Is this it?
Oh, it's the inspiration for the.
It's thought to be the inspiration for the French croissant.
It's like a pretzel. It's like an untwisted pretzel.
I thought it was like. I mentioned the video. We went to North Korea to get a haircut. Oh, you're not talking about me. You're talking about
the cool one.
Here we call North Korea as popular Korea. Where
that is so good.
Where?
I mean, popular is in like people's, like DPRK.
Yeah. Did you go to Vienna? I did. I did go to Austria. It's beautiful. Vienna is beautiful. I love Vienna. Except, you know, it made me feel very like my epigenetic memories kicked in, and I was thinking like I just kept storming through doors. I was like, is this the gate? Are these the gates where they stopped us? And then I would like burst through it. That's not even a joke. I literally did do that. Again, I was destined to be a fucking content creator. I was doing that just for the funsies. I was not a content creator back then. I was just doing that to my family. And they just kept saying, stop doing that. You know?
Keep asking about Afghan biscuits.
I don't know. The Turks got it easy from World War I. Look at what was the European plan for your country. The only reason why this didn't happen is because the reason why this didn't, by the way, I love that they like this is just, you know, you just parse it together and create regions for yourselves. The only reason why this didn't happen is because the Ottoman Empire, the Turks won all of their fucking battles, like literally every single battle, with the exception of like North Africa, was won. Also, I love people who are like, I love people being like, hey man, this would have been sick if they did this, except like we literally talk about Palestine on a daily basis, and this is that, okay? It's like not, you know, it's not all that different from that, okay? You look at Europe partitioning areas that it knows nothing about. Zones of influence. This would have been international control, demilitarized. Is this the Ocean Gate sound chat I was talking about? The viral screaming audio is fake, sample from Five Nights at Freddy's? Oh, okay.
Did you see someone made an AI song with your voice for Toxic Gossip Train?
Yeah, I've been listening to it every morning when I get started. It's so good.
It's amazing.
Africa after World War I is a good example. Exactly.
Map perverts.
The French and British really were map perverts. Yeah. But like perverts in the sense that they wanted to fuck the maps and not like actually, partition territory on any sort of like real ethnic boundaries or anything like that. They were just like fucking it.
Now this one seemed a bit nicer. I feel like in Africa there are a lot more just like pure straight lines. Just like whatever, fuck this. This looks a little bit more considerate.
CIA Harris at it again. Oh shit. The US military is planning for a war with China. Oh shit. Oh shit. Here we go again, dude. You know, listen. Expect Johnny Harris had to do one good video so he could do like 10 ones where he's like
let's invade
Taiwan. Here's why Taiwan needs to be defended with military force and perhaps nuclear weapons, you know what I mean? You got to expect that, like the top of the hour ad break, you know what I mean? In Brazil, socialist people call North Korea as popular Korea or People's Korea. I don't know the real translate. Sorry. Ha ha ha.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love that.
Like, I'm going to start calling it popular Korea.
Yeah. It's actually not that bad of a video. Well, you know what's not that bad of a video? The top of the hour ad break, as long as you're subscribed, because in that case, you don't see those ads and you get to avoid them. The way to avoid them is either with a $5 a month subscription or a free one in the form of a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account or by getting gifted a sub. Here is the 3-minute ad break now. Boom. Blammo. Comano, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Brazil mentioned. Hell yeah, dude. In
fact, the majority of people who watched our North Korea video were Brazilian. Like all the top comments are from Brazil. I don't know what the whole North Korea Brazil solidarity thing is, but you guys love each other. Oh no. Dude,
delete this. Is Hasan CIA? CIA beanie. Are they the same person? CIA Dude, delete this. I wore it one time. Stop. Guys, no. Shut up. Stop it. Fuck. All right, should we start off with this? I was going to do a little bit of news coverage, but dude, we've gone to so many different directions. Yeah. Holy fuck. Okay.
Ali
Kemal, fucking dude, my ADHD is out of control today. How the fuck did I get here? Video DoorDash driver commenting on tip sparks debate about gratuity. Mom gets shocking earful from pizza delivery driver. France protests, why is Paris always burning? All right, you know what? Let's do the Johnny Harris one because I also want to watch this. The $100 Disney food challenge in Paris, most expensive food in Europe. Breaking House Freedom Caucus just expelled Marjorie Taylor Greene, apparently for not being far right or MAGA enough. Finally, someone's coming after her for being fake and a phony. I agree. All right, let's do this one. Let's start with this.
There's a small volcanic island off the southern coast of Japan.
Yeah, he's so good at editing. You always got to hand it to him, okay?
Nobody lives here. But here's footage from January 2023 of construction workers arriving to this island. Their task is to build a couple of runways on the island and some storage facilities for ammunition. The Japanese government has been paying local fishermen to stay away from this island. That's because they're turning it into a military base. The island is being built by Japan, but one of its main purposes...
Which is very cool and good. I sure hope China's not doing that. Because if they are doing that, then that's not cool and not good. Not good. Not good or nor.
Has to do with the United States. American fighter jets and aircraft carriers have had to do their drills and practices down here on this island.
What?
But now
That's so
they're
far
able
away.
to station at this island, moving them much closer to this ocean and to one country in particular.
China.
Magashima is just one of many islands that are being loaded up with military hardware, most of it coming from the United States. It's part of this chain of militarized islands, an effort of defense
militarized
or
islands.
Aggression, depending on how you look at it. It's a line that centers on Taiwan. And it's what one official was referring to when they said that 2023 is likely to stand.
By the way, Janet Yellen is currently in China today. talking to them about God knows what.
And as the most transformative year in U.S. force posture in this region in a generation. This line is a symbol of the rising tensions between global superpowers. And I want to show you why this is happening now and what it means for the future of this conflict.
This is unlike anything the U.S. Navy has done since World War II.
Tensions are rising in one of the most hotly contested regions on the planet, the South China Sea.
Why? Why? Why is it one of the most hotly contested places on the planet? A question we must ask ourselves. Like, I'm sorry, I always have to ask, why is America there? Like, no, I know that we have this attitude where, like, of course we have to be there to preserve freedom, right? But it's like, but why are we there, really? What's up with that?
Doesn't make any sense.
Hey, I'm going to pause the story really quick to tell you
Headspace.
about
BetterHelp.com.
BetterHelp.
back into this important story. Here we go.
There would be tension without the U.S., though? No, there wouldn't. What? No, there wouldn't.
Look, islands just militarize themselves, you know.
Okay,
Eventually.
so this document from the U.S. Department of Defense. This document is called the National Defense Strategy of the United States of America, which also includes the Nuclear Posture Review and Missile Defense Review. It's basically a report that they release every 4 years that gives us an understanding of what the U.S. military is up to, what they care about.
Like China and who would have tension without the U.S.? Imagine no U.S. involvement in that region. What you think the Filipinos are going to rise up against the Chinese or something? Like, what do you think is going to happen? Motherfuckers be like, Japan? Really? Okay. Like, current day Japan? No, we're not talking about India, okay? We're talking about that part of the world. China is massive, so obviously there's tension on all sides. But even then, even with India.
But this year's is more detailed than normal. The document focuses a lot on China.
If China threatens our sovereignty, concerns directly with China.
The DoD says that China, quote, remains our most consequential strategic competitor for coming decades. Why? Because, the Pentagon says, China is bullying its neighbors to, quote, reshape the region and the international system to fit its authoritarian preferences. Now, remember, the United States, who spends loads on its military, has set
They just hate democracy.
That's what it... Fuck, I was thinking, like, what is China trying to do? Oh, they're trying to stop the Indian democratic process from taking root, or the Philippines, the Filipino democratic process from maintaining its blossoming democracy. Or
I think just the idea of a Filipino person voting is just like so hard to deal with for a
yeah,
Chinese person.
they hate that, dude. Fuck it, Japan. The democratic process in Japan, like a functionally one-party state that America designed, okay? Like, it's always funny to think about these countries. Like, I love Japan. You guys know this is not a fucking, it's not a meme. But let's be real. Like, these are all client states. Client states with an effectively one-party form of governance that you would never consider a democracy by, like, Western standards. You know what I mean? Anyway, it's just...
rules for our global order, how we trade, what political systems we favor, who participates in the system. And now we see a country that wants to dethrone them, to create a new system based on other values and other rules.
Yeah. Unlike...
And what scares the US military is that China is rapidly modernizing and expanding their military. China's military is growing incredibly fast. Like, they deploy the equivalent of an entire new British Navy every 4 years. Every 4 years, it's like
What's
new,
the British
new
Navy,
British
though?
Navy,
That's
like
not
new
a-
Royal Navy every 4 years. Yeah, they're just growing very quickly. This report is concerned about China's growing strength and military footprint.
Again, like, we're scared of Chinese military footprint growing because they're growing and have a defensive posture against who? Against American client states and the American Navy that's there, okay? Thousands of miles away from the U.S. coastline. What the fuck?
Wait, there aren't any big American cities in China? I thought there was like some melting. Where's Denver?
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, it might as well be China. It might as well be in China. It's close. 881 bases around the planet. Yeah, I mean, technically, if you consider it that way, China is bordering the United States of America.
Those bases.
If you think about Taiwan as like an American base, then, you know, all of a sudden, things get real spicy.
How China is coercing its neighbors, disregarding ocean boundaries, testing missiles, bullying fishing vessels in other countries.
Like, this entire video is only we get to do that. And not even in our backyard, which we already did that.
Neighbors.
But other people's backyards we get to do that in. And you can't do that.
Countries' waters, building islands and military bases on those islands.
China's building
and
islands?
flying over other countries' airspace, and especially in Taiwan.
I knew
the
it.
island that China claims as their own, and where the globe
Also
gets
that we
nearly
claim
all
as
of their advanced
China's.
microchips, which is a topic I made an entire.
Okay, to be fair, yeah, as Aleksa also pointed out, it's not just China that claims that it is Chinese. It's the United States of America that also has maintained that same position since motherfucking Nixon, which is a position that they have routinely lied about. And it's not just me saying this. Like, this is very clearly the American foreign policy. The very clear American foreign policy has always been, it's China. It has some level of autonomy from China, but they call it strategic ambiguity, where they were not supposed to. From its inception as an anti-communist military dictatorship that was like completely psychotic, all the way to the modern democratic process that you see in Taiwan, America's position went from, no, actually, KMT Taiwan, that is literally China, okay? And like the entire Western territory that is mainland China belongs to Taiwan, as a matter of fact, to, okay, never mind, maybe the communists aren't so bad. It quite literally is, Taiwan is still China. It just has like a different system. And that has been our position.
It's like 50% of the vote in Taiwan often goes to the like legacy KMT guys who still think they're China.
Yeah.
You know, like, especially the bigger and stronger China gets, it like tickles these old nationalists.
Yeah. But I mean, that's like, the overwhelming majority just don't want to rock the boat. I've looked into polling in Taiwan on this issue quite a lot. Most people just say, listen, we would prefer to be autonomous. We would prefer to be independent, for sure. Like, that's understandable. But overall, the current system that we have is much better than what could potentially happen, which is rocking the boat. Okay? No, most people just want the current system that they have is fine. Let's continue going the way that we're going, and not fuck this shit up. Whereas, Nancy Pelosi's like, I got some other ideas. Okay, I got some different ideas. Anyway, I mean, and again,
on Taiwan, I reiterated the long-standing U.S. One China policy. That policy has not changed. It's guided by the Taiwan Relations Act, the 3 joint communiques, the 6 assurances. We do not support Taiwan independence. We remain opposed to any unilateral changes to the status quo by either side. We continue to expect the peaceful resolution of cross-strait differences.
I think China should just take Australia.
Yes.
I think China should be like, all right, you can have Taiwan. Australia is ours.
I mean, if you ask a lot of right-wing people in Australia, that's already happened.
That has already happened, right? Yeah. They
why.
did it through immigration.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying. China are in absolutely no rush to annex Taiwan or whatever. Is the U.S. who wants to provoke a conflict in the hope that they can somehow ruin the Chinese economy before it totally surpasses the American economy? That is correct.
Well, that's what America has in the bag, is like a military strength.
America
like
would never do that.
Invade another country or
no, agitate like any kind of group of individuals that are in a position of power that they placed that would then go and try to drum up support and maybe create any kind of like civil chaos or even all-out war. They would never do that. They've never done that, historically speaking, and they certainly will never do that. Surely. And aren't doing that in Taiwan, while Anthony Blinken is like, one nation, two systems.
Do
We
you get
remain
much,
committed to meeting our...
is there much pushback on it here? Like in Australia, it's like bipartisan, the anti-China stuff. Like you can't find anyone who's...
Dude, it is super bipartisan here as well. Oh my Lord. We're always on a like who fucking hates China more kick. Yeah. Like Joe Biden's like, no, I'll execute the Chinese. Just wait, Jack. And then Donald Trump's like, I've killed so many Chinese. We hate them. Donald Trump literally claims that Joe Biden, because he had like some documents in a facility in Chinatown, that like he was actually working with the Chinese, because he thinks Chinatown, which exists in like every fucking large American city.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. Is technically Chinese. They think it's Chinese soil. Anyway, let's
our responsibilities under the Taiwan Relations Act, including making sure that Taiwan has the ability to defend itself. On Taiwan.
Anyway. But this was shocking for a lot of people who have just like, who don't know anything about American-Chinese relations or like America's foreign policy on China, but instead have just been like paying attention to how bad China is. So they're like genuinely shocked when they heard this. They were like, what? I can't believe Blinken reiterated like long-standing foreign policy with China like this. What the fuck?
Our video about. The point is, Taiwan is an incredibly important island for the United States. All of this together makes China, quote, the only country that has the intent and power to actually challenge the US-led global order and rewrite global rules and norms, something the US has gotten really comfortable doing over the last 70 years. So this is why the US considers China the most consequential strategic competitor for coming decades. And they've created a plan to respond. And in their words, we cannot delay. They give themselves this 10-year window to
I gotta start highlighting
major
stuff
changes,
in my videos more.
and this is what it looks like. Okay, first things first. The US military is already very present in Asia. We've got about 8,000 troops in Guam. We've got over 100 bases.
Wait, what is this? By making a stance and say that we can stand with Taiwan, we make sure that they stay democratic. China won't ever attack Taiwan, so this is good. Okay, you lost me there. Anytime you fucking claim that America is like legitimately defending democracy, it's over, okay? It's a wrap. I will never take you seriously. America does not give a single shred of a fuck about the democratic process. We don't even have a democratic process here in the United States of America. Have you seen the Senate? Have you seen the Electoral College? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's just completely about whatever their strategic interests are, okay? No, they do not. They fear multipolarity. That's it. That's literally it. Because it's not like China is going to become the single force, the hegemonic power that the United States is. They don't have 800 fucking military bases around the world. They don't have like their own version of a world war and then like the Marshall Plan post World War II. You know what I mean? They can't do all of that. They don't have the fucking NATO. They don't even have an interest in it. You can say yet all you want. Yet. Everything you're talking about. Yet. But what if they do? Okay. I like you, I really do, but it's not good to actually be for their independence. I don't agree with the U.S., but by talking like this, you make it seem like you are pro-China. First of all, I am pro-China. Okay, so make no mistake on that front. I am pro-China. I do not mind multipolarity. I do not fear multipolarity. So on that front, I am definitely pro-China, as pro-China as it gets. It's-
Oh, no, you go.
No,
You're
you
on a
go.
roll.
Go. No,
They just got a nicer track record in terms of wars. Like once they start doing more of them, maybe I'll be less pro China. But like
fair.
they've done like 2, in like 70 years.
Chosen Reservoir, baby.
And one of them was glorious.
Yeah, it was fucking glorious. So, geez, your foreign policy take is so bad. This is like the Crimea stuff in Hong Kong. You can't be a social. I know Hong Kong is famously on fire.
Yeah.
I always check in with Hong Kong to see how bad things are in Hong Kong, because remember they when the Chinese took over, they executed everyone. Yeah. It was so crazy. It was wild. The only difference and the only thing that I do criticize China on is their lack of interest in social libertarianism, for sure. I think that I am significantly more pro civil liberties and pro freedom of speech than the Chinese government is. And I don't even make the same kinds of, I would say, I don't even make the same kind of excuse that I would make for Cuba, an island that has been constantly under war for, their lack of interest in like free speech. That is absolutely something that I am very critical on with respect to China. But Hasan being shocked that the normies in the chat really don't fuck with his foreign policy takes. No, I'm not shocked at that at all. This is like a big part of what differentiates me from a lot of other, I would say, left-leaning, left-adjacent content creators in the United States of America. This is why they always say Hasan is so American-centric. Hong Kong is no longer a democracy because of China.
It was so democratic.
Yeah.
Fuck, and then
yeah, I know.
Now people are living in like tiny little cages in apartments. Like that wasn't a thing before.
Schadenfreude, our Indian chatter who is anti-China, says, you can't consider China here to be a harmless victim. Tibet happened. I mean, 1962 war happened. The recent Chinese attack on India happened, and they're just doing this for saber-rattling, and they have been interfering in politics in a lot of nations in the neighborhood, and the reason isn't some stupid reason like spreading authoritarian system. They're just doing it, their own Washington doctrine. I don't disagree with the last part about this, though.
Yeah.
They absolutely are. They do have. How do I put this gently? I think that it's not as expansionist in the same way that like American foreign policy is, but they definitely are engaging in.
Also, if you're surrounded by American client states, you do have an interest in how they turn out.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this a lot about regional powers. They're not superpowers, but regional powers always want to maintain a level of control in surrounding regions. And obviously, the only way you can do that is if you are America's lapdog, like Turkey, for example. Look at what the fuck Turkey's doing in the northern Syrian corridor, and understand that, like, that is totally allowed if you are a NATO country. That is totally allowed if America lets you do it. That's it. When you are seen at odds with the United States of America's interests in the region, then you can't do that. Look at Israel. Israel's another example. Golan Heights is, again, a piece of Syria that they like have been able to overtake. It's not even in any fucking by any metric Israeli territory. There's nothing Israel about that. So, Hasan, do you think China is the bastion of progress more than the U.S.? No.
That is what he's been saying, to be fair. Like,
I have been secretly. Secretly, I've been maintaining the secret position that China is the bastion of social progress. All right,
bases in Japan with about 21,000 American troops on the mainland and another 24,000 stationed down here on the Japanese island of Okinawa. Go up to South Korea and you'll find 22,000 US troops. And then you've got the US Navy who operates out of this port in Singapore. This has been the status quo in Asia for decades, and it has been the way that the US has ensured security for its allies. And it's kind of mostly worked to help secure American interests and deter conflict conflict, the US has maintained strong alliances in this region. And frankly, the Pentagon has kind of been distracted with...
Yeah, look at all the saber-rattling China's doing. Did you see that?
But it's also funny, like, ensuring their security. It's like they must be taken over by America to make sure they're safe from being taken over by someone else.
Fuck, what's the Navy? I think the American foreign policy position is literally considering the Philippines as like an unmovable like military cruiser.
Like
they literally treat the Philippines as like, especially with like the recent elections and the new form of governance in the Philippines. They consider that to be the unsinkable aircraft carrier, and you know, it's great. It's wonderful. But yeah, they say an unsinkable aircraft carrier. That's what they consider it. But you know, it's not saber rattling. That's just ensuring that the client states have security.
Other things. 2 wars that happened in the Middle East over the past 20 years.
My fellow citizens.
But as those conflicts wind down, and as China militarizes, the Department of Defense says that this status quo, all of these troops in Asia, it's not enough. They talk about this new kind of deterrence. Integrated deterrence. The only kind of military posture that will actually keep China at bay. And this is what it looks like. The smallest part of the strategy has to do with American bases. They're going to reopen a base in Guam and move some troops there. But the majority of this strategy has to do with American allies in Asia. Allies that are in lockstep with the US's goal to deter and contain China. The Pentagon calls partnering with its allies the center of gravity for this strategy. So let's start with Japan, one of the US's closest allies in the region. Japan is a country that is deeply concerned about a more powerful China, with its massive navy and its ambitions to control Taiwan. And it's very easy to forget.
Why does Japan care about Taiwan?
What do you mean, dude?
Like,
of course
Japanese homeland of Taiwan.
Yeah, no, they care about it. Just don't worry about it. They care. They care. Maybe it's because
Australia cares about it. So, like, if Australia feels enough of a connection to Taiwan, I'm sure Japan does.
Yeah, dude, they care because they hate the undemocratic Chinese rule. They were really critical of like the original Taiwan governance when it was just like a genocidal military dictatorship. They were like, Taiwan, why are you doing this? Come on,
we have
guys.
to contain you, Taiwan. Or
yeah, that's what they kept saying. Same with South Korea, as a matter of fact. When South Korea also was a genocidal military dictatorship and then changed its structure of governance from that to 6 chaeballs in a suit jacket, which is very different now and totally again very democratic. Well, they have an incel president, which is cool.
Yeah.
I do think that's cool to have like a guy who literally ran on like women fucking suck candidacy. Important to note that the 11 dash line that he calls the Chinese claim is actually a claim that Taiwan also advances Lamau. Where is the
closest ally?
Well, they also there's a funny little trick that maybe me as a Turkish person I'm a little bit more aware of that like Western forces always utilize. They'll constantly say, Taiwanese airspace and, China is flying on Japanese and Taiwanese airspace. And if you don't really pay attention to the map, you will look at that and go, oh, wow, that's really fucked up that they're flying in Taiwanese airspace until you fucking realize that it's literally the border. It's the fucking landmass. The Chinese landmass where it ends and the water begins is basically fucking not Chinese airspace, according to a lot of Westerners. Why am I saying this? Because they did the same thing with Turkey and Greece. Okay? There are a lot of circumstances where, there's a lot of there's a lot of tricky situations with like the Turkish military and the Greek military constantly just like fucking around with one another. Because if you look at like the Turkish airspace, it ends at the border where the landmass ends, okay? I mean, that's insane. That's an insane way to operate, Okay. This was from, I think this was like the airspace closed to against Russia or something. This was when there was a battle. But like, this is the fucking Turkish airspace. Look at this. Does that make sense to you? Taiwanese airspace.
Wait, what? The whole square? No, the line.
I don't know if this is where it ends. I think it does. I think Taiwanese airspace technically is Chinese landmass too.
And the Taiwanese fucking breathe a lot. They're sucking in all that air from mainland China.
CNN reporter, why is this Chinese
two-seater that they say is armed with air-to-air missiles, and it's been shadowing this U.S. Navy plane now for about 15 minutes. It is pretty remarkable to see this Chinese warplane operating at such close proximity, just several hundred feet away. 11.
It is interesting that China got so close to our plane.
Yeah, what the fuck?
The country just like moved towards where
it's literally is like the why are you hitting yourself, but on a global scale. It's like, dude, what is your plane doing there? You know what I mean? We understandably took care of a fucking balloon that was Chinese that happened to fly over U.S. airspace because it caught like the wrong wind current, which we again openly admitted months later was not doing any kind of spy reconnaissance, as I correctly told you at the time. And everyone was like, Hasan, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I'm like, why would they do that? They have satellites. The best way to do actual reconnaissance is put fucking cameras. If you want like up close and personal photographs of like, I don't know, some military base dude's asshole hairs, then you just strap cameras under a fucking low flying Cessna or under a private jet. Okay, you don't have to fucking literally fly this like dumbass balloon that's like clearly visible. Okay, or just use, you know, the satellites that they have. Anyway, and remember what we did? We blew that shit up. Air defense identification zones in East Asia.
Oh, so the blue square is Taiwan.
Yeah.
There's like a huge chunk of...
What do you mean? There's nothing wrong with that. It's like they deserve that land. I'm sorry.
So
is there not enough China for you that like they can't take some of it? Give some of China
it's a pretty big country,
to Taiwan. It's a big country. Anyway. The best part about that was that we shot missiles at a high school weather balloon after that. Yeah, I know. I mean, that's like the most American thing you can do is get like so schizophrenic about both aliens and also a potential Chinese air assault that you start blowing up like weather balloon projects that high schoolers have made. Anyway. Where the fuck were we? Let's get back to the Johnny Harris video.
Japan is a country that is deeply concerned about a more powerful China, with its massive navy and its ambitions to control Taiwan. And it's very easy to forget that Japan isn't just this. It's actually all of this. It extends way down here because of all these islands. These islands curve nicely all the way.
They aren't going to watch it. They're just going to call him a tanky if they even know who Bad Empanada is. They aren't a serious person.
Way down till they hit Taiwan. All of these are Japanese islands.
We aren't a serious
I mean,
person.
if you look at Japan's national defense strategy translated into English, you will see something that looks strikingly similar to what the Pentagon released. They're both really freaked out about China, and they both are ready to act in lockstep to deter a more aggressive China in the region. So it starts up here with that island.
I love the idea that the security state in China and Japan and America just like coincidentally wrote exactly the same thing.
It's so weird.
It's just like, it just means they agree with each other, you know?
Yeah, it's just so odd that, I mean, they clearly are, yeah. How many?
They're just kindred spirits.
Yeah, that's why Japanese people famously love American military bases on the island. It's just like they're just friendly with one another. They just, they have similar opinions. That's why they were like, hey, Can you, after you are done, using the atom bomb on us twice, can you please write our constitution? That's what the Japanese said.
An airstrip to be used by both Japanese and US militaries. Further south is Amami Island, where Japan has recently added long-range missiles and anti-ship missiles. Potentially they're going to add cruise missiles. These are missiles that they're buying from the United States. These are missiles that are definitely in range of the Taiwan Strait. Next to the chain is Okinawa, where the US has a huge presence of tens of
very famously beloved U.S. military presence in Okinawa. They're like, oh my God. They love that.
I only found out recently, you said you knew about this for ages, that Psy, Gangnam Style guy. Was like riffing about like killing American soldiers.
Yeah, he called like American soldiers like baby killers.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Like, I want to strangle them.
Oh, your mic is fucking again.
Sorry, that was me. I just touched it.
Touching it. Wait. Is it good now, or is it still fucked up? Just don't touch the cable. Okay.
Thousands of troops already. Japan also has military bases here and is
as an Okinawan person, the U.S. Army treats us like dogs and sex objects. Is sad as hell. Yeah. I was being sarcastic. I'm being sarcastic with most of the things I'm saying.
But imagine what China would do.
Yeah, but yeah.
Come on.
Well, when you talk about the Chinese and Japanese relations,
oh yeah, maybe
maybe China could be worse. I don't know. I don't know if they got revenge on the mind, for example. But not modern China, at least, as far as we know. I was deployed to Japan in 2014 with the Navy. The week before I got there, two sailors got drunk, couldn't afford their cab ride home, so they beat up the cab driver, put him in the trunk, and then drove the cab on base. Jesus Christ.
Adding even more long-range missiles and electronic warfare units for military installations meant to disrupt and deny communication signals. On these two islands down here, they're adding even more long-range missiles, which could potentially be used to attack Chinese naval ships and aircraft. And Japan is placing...
Guys, this is for defense. This is defensive posturing. It's classic.
Placing nearly 600 troops on Ishigaki as well. And finally, you've got this last militarized island in the chain, Yonaguni. It's the closest island to Taiwan. And here, Japan is adding more of those electronic warfare.
By the way, if by some magic, okay, not saying that this is happening, not saying that this could ever happen, if by some change of heart, that the entirety of the Taiwanese population was like, actually, we're Chinese. What the fuck are we talking about? Let's just openly be pro-China. If you think those missile bases would not be turned on Taiwan, which would now be like fully openly
authoritarian,
openly authoritarian and Chinese, you're out of your fucking mind. Okay.
Yeah. Well, who knows? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's fake news. I saw some article maybe like a year ago that China was planning to build the world's longest like underwater railway, connecting mainland to Taiwan.
Can't do that. How is this not considered escalation? We are literally aiming our guns at them. Guys, it's defensive. Oh, didn't you hear what Johnny said? He said it's defensive because China, coincidentally, or not China, sorry, Japan and America have the same fear of China, coincidentally, verbatim. Yeah, it's the Defense Department.
I don't know. It's just so sad.
Yeah,
Like
when North Korea is doing defensive military testing, like missile testing, they're doing it defensively. Okay. Oh wait, no, sorry, that's a foreign adversary. They're doing it to scare Japan because they're gonna nuke America and then nuke Japan first, which is like kind of like an extension of Hawaii, I would say. So that's why they're doing that. But when Japan is doing it and America's doing it, it's a defensive nuke. The nuke was just defense. Okay, first of all, America literally claims that the atom bombs were defensive because the firebombing campaign was significantly worse for Japan overall than the two atom bombs. If you've never talked to like an American history nut, I don't know what to tell you, but there is quite literally that is literally the take. They consider
we did something worse, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, they they have genuinely and openly explained that like the atom bomb had to happen so that the firebombing campaigns would stop.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
That's really good. I didn't get that. That's hilarious.
That's not even a joke, though. That's like actually the position.
What people believe.
Signals or to listen in on their communications. You know, they're right next to China. Japan is also positioning more troops here. So this is the first part of our chain. And when paired with training that Japan and US troops are doing to simulate island and amphibious warfare, it sends a really strong signal to China that Japan is ready to respond if needed. This line also serves as like a physical
Not as
barrier
an aggressor,
that
they're
any Chinese
responding to
ship
something.
or submarine would have to pass through in order to access the Pacific Ocean. It's a line that Japan can easily control and monitor. And it also builds a wall of missiles. Any calculus that China is making.
Dude, look at all of these cool little missile systems that just happen to surround China. Like, look at that.
It's cool that this chain of island just somehow belongs to like an ex-colonial power that expanded all across Asia. Like all these natural parts of Japan are just like coming all the way down to China.
Yeah, and also then the rest of it is like it's like pieced through all of the other allies.
Yeah.
Surely this is just simply for defensive posturing.
On whether or not to invade Taiwan or to do anything in the region, we'll have to now factor in this wall of missiles ready to roll. Overall, this increased military presence on this chain of islands gives Japan, and by extension the United States, the ability to monitor communications and troop movements of China, preparing them to act quickly. And it also gives them the ability to pre-position troops and supplies throughout the region, which is a major logistical advantage. But all of this comes with a massive price tag. So Japan, which is formerly a pacifist nation without like a
famously the famously pacifist nation of Japan.
Where did they?
What? No way, dude. Come on. Okay, look. God damn. Listen. I love Japan. I don't love Japan that much to just be like, famously pacifist. They mean after World War II.
Wait, they weren't involved in the war on terror, or they invaded Korea with the Americans. No, were they chilling the whole time?
I actually don't know Japanese involvement after World War II in other shit. I think they were. He said formally, not famously. Formally. They're pacifists because of anime and they're so kawaii. Pacified, not pacifist. I mean, that seems like a more realistic way to approach the situation. They are pacified. That part is true. Since World War II, that is not fake. That part is real. So that does make sense.
Is actually planning to double their defense spending. They're spending way more on buying weapons than they ever have before, and 97% of those weapons are coming from the United States. The island chain strategy.
97% of their weapons are coming from the United States. Japan did not involve themselves in Korea. Japan military, while better than you think, is very restrained in its involvement vis-a-vis Korea and Vietnam.
Strategy continues down here with the Philippines, close to Taiwan and close to the South.
Well, you had to tie that somehow. You know what I mean? And then you have Vietnam right here. You have Vietnam. That's it. No gaps.
The U.S. knows that it needs to bolster its presence here, but it's not as straightforward as it is in Japan. The Philippines was a U.S. colony for decades. It's a very sensitive history. And even after Filipino independence, the U.S. maintained a military presence in the Philippines until like the 90s. And then they eventually kicked out the U.S. as many saw it as just an enduring legacy of U.S. colonialism. But a more aggressive China has become a major threat to the Philippines. Now listen, I'm not going to go into like a full South China Sea thing here, but just know that China claims all of this as their
Doesn't the Chinese, the Chinese government not even recognize the Maoist rebels in the Philippines? Like they don't even give a fuck.
Yeah, they're funding the I think the Filipino government fight them, giving them weapons.
No, I don't think the Chinese government is funding the Maoist rebels. No,
the Filipino government against them. I think it was like they did a little swapsy in like 2016 or something. Let me see.
Yeah, Johnny not getting into the nitty gritty of that, I guess, huh? Yeah, I mean, it's like, guys, just focus on the issue at hand, okay? Which is that China is a threat and China is scary, okay? And, you know, maybe it was a U.S. colony for a while. And maybe since then we still use it as the, again, like I said, unsinkable U.S. aircraft carrier. He's right. They're funding the official government and not the Maoist rebels. Yeah, their position is that they have like a neutral. They're neutral with the Filipino government.
Their maritime boundary. It's literally a line with 9 dashes that some Chinese official in 1948 drew by hand on a map. This line blasts through the boundaries that the rest of the world recognizes as the Filipino territorial waters. So there's a conflict in the ocean. And now, on a daily basis, Filipino fishing vessels are harassed by Chinese military vessels, who threaten them if they don't leave their waters. In 2022, China put a temporary stop to all fishing in the South China Sea, denying the Philippines' ability to fish in the West Philippine Sea, which is rightfully their waters.
Hasan spreading fascist propaganda takes. America can be bad, but that doesn't make fascists good. Hasan coming out with weird takes. What have I said that's like, what did I just say? The map that Taiwan also claims is theirs. What have I said so far that's like even remotely fascist? So we're trying to take over the world or something if we're an alien? What?
But it's crazier than that. The Chinese Navy is like full-blown just bullying the Philippines. They like show up with lasers to harass and blind Filipino ships. I mean, let's remember, the Philippines is a much smaller nation than China and doesn't really have a navy even close to what China has. So now they're in this impossible decision. They have to choose between giving up their sovereignty and fishing rights to their aggressive neighbor, China, or partnering with their former colonizer who also wants to repel China. And in this case, they chose the latter.
China has pushed too hard. It's pushed the Philippines in the South China Sea, what they call the West Philippine Sea.
But the Philippines is planning to boost its military presence in the disputed South China Sea.
It started in 2014 when they allowed the US back in for the first time in 22 years. The US presence will technically be in bases that are owned by the Philippines, but the US can have troops, build barracks, and other military installations, and can have pre-positioned supplies there as well. It's basically like the US has bases there, but it's like, shh, it's actually the Philippines. And as part of all of this that we've been talking about, in late 2022, they expanded their agreement, giving the US military access to 4 more bases, bringing the total number of bases on the Philippines up to 9. And that's look where they selected to put them.
And then that's how you do it. That's how you fucking close the gap.
Here in the north of the country, strategically close to Taiwan, and helping fill their gap in their...
Where is the mention of Vietnam? They also have issue with the South China Sea claims. I don't know if Johnny will talk about Vietnam, but Vietnam is also obviously very anti-China.
Yeah.
They love America.
Island chain that they're creating. This now allows US to have a military presence really close to Taiwan. The US trains very closely with their Filipino counterparts, making them ready to respond very quickly to an invasion in Taiwan, while also repelling Chinese bullying of Filipino fishing activity. Okay, so now the island chain is filling out, giving the US and its regional partners a solid blockade to the Pacific. And it continues all the way down around the South China Sea because of the US presence.
Johnny Harris, our favorite.
We're watching a video about why it's really dangerous. Like China is really dangerous, which is why we need to have all of these missile systems directly pointed at it and basically surround its southern access to waters as best as possible. Luckily, America's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can join. Dude, you guys love streaming, dude. Just fucking say it.
I think also, like, luckily, like, coincidentally, a lot of these countries, like, defense papers are, like, identical, like, word for word to America's. So it's good that everyone agrees, you know, like, it's
cool. It's cool when it just works out like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
when your friend knows what you're thinking, you don't even have to say it.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
Yeah, it's just perfect. If America didn't surround China, your freedom to stream would be in danger. Mark my words.
What, you mean streaming is over?
What the fuck?
You can imagine a free Hasan just playing basketball every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Australia is turning into America Forward Operating Base 2, by the way.
That's actually the worst bit. It actually scares me. Like, as soon as there's a war in Taiwan, we're going to be we're going to be like at war.
Also, the northern part of Australia is fucked. Like, Darwin is just filled with all American bases, all American planes.
Fucked? You mean like free?
Sorry. Free.
Weird that you're saying it's
the wrong
fucked
F word.
when it feels like it's free, and also you have nuclear submarines. So
we're getting them.
That's
actually kind of a good thing. So like the nuclear subs are coming. We don't have any of the like means to service them. So we need like nuclear submarine bases in Australia.
Yeah.
But it's actually a really good thing because like one time where we were like near Vladivostok. Oh no!
Your microphone is busted again. I think it's fine now.
Is it all right?
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Yeah, we were in Vladivostok, like next to a nuclear submarine base, and we were camping. And like when you dive down there, the kind of like mussels you get in the ocean are just like 5 times the size of the normal ones.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's awesome, and they're delicious. It tastes like a steak.
What's going to happen?
So if they can put one of those nuclear submarine bases anywhere near me in Sydney, that would be so good. I'd be eating like the biggest, juiciest seafood.
Yeah. What do you mean? It's great. It's awesome. Tastes like freedom to me. You said steak.
Actually delicious.
Yeah, you said steak. Like
it's the only seafood you'll be able to eat. It tastes like beef.
All right.
Singapore. This is a very united front, but it doesn't stop here. The last part of the strategy is potentially the most significant, and it has to do with Australia, a country that is also alarmed by China's
We are so
rise in the
alarmed.
region. So there's this military pact between the US, the UK, and Australia. It's called AUKUS. What it means is that these 3 countries will work together to create a unified submarine force that will patrol the Pacific.
Thank God.
What it means is that the US is giving nuclear submarine technology, its most powerful and advanced weapon, freely to Australia.
Wait, no, we paid dumb amounts of money for those submarines.
What do you mean? No, it's free. Johnny Harris said it's free, so he's...
Wait, wasn't it like 20 billion or
It was
90
more.
billion?
It was fucking so much money. And like the best thing is like we just paid all this money and then
for free.
For free. Thank you.
You guys want Chipotle, by the way?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you want the same burrito bowl
I would
that I've
love
gotten?
Yes, please.
You want 3 of the same burrito bowls that I always get?
Yeah. I think if you pay taxes for equipment, you should have a right every single day. They should just do like a lottery,
where you
get to use it. So I should
That's
get
brilliant.
to drive
I
the
love
nuclear
that.
submarine.
Okay, you know what? I agree with that.
Yeah.
That would make things. That would also improve, military spending on U.S. toys.
Yep.
Because everyone would be like, "Well, I want to ride the fucking submarine."
Yeah, it's fucking sick.
Yeah.
At least let me shoot a torpedo out of a nuclear sub.
Wait, what do you reckon he's referring to when he says free?
Well, maybe we'll find out.
Or he just said it and he moved on.
To our most powerful weapons, take them, foreign country. And then the US and UK
pause
will base submarines.
We paid an insane amount of money, like
freely
crazy
to
billions of
Australia.
dollars for this.
Here are the designs to...
But then it's also just funny because with the big ceremony, fucking
That's so weird.
368 billion.
Just, dude.
But then also, like, at the ceremony, Joe Biden just forgets the name of our prime minister after we forked over $368 billion submarine. He's like, that Australian guy.
That's what you're insulted about? We are prime minister
It's
changes
just
every year.
It's just
very
extra funny.
understandable.
It's just funny. It's just an extra little just
You're like, if he remembered it, I would be fine with this.
It's bad decorum, you know?
Yeah, there's no dignity here. Yeah, I mean, this is great.
Why would he say that?
They're going to forgive the loans like it's a PPP loan. No, Hasan, don't you see the IP is free? The sub costs $368 billion.
Wait,
yeah.
so we should be paying
No,
more.
it was free. It was free, and that's why France was so mad.
Yeah. Because they wanted to give us free stuff.
Because France was like, no, we want to give you guys the free nuclear submarines. It's like really fucked up that America's doing that instead. Like really messed up.
It's just insane paying for the right to be like a American military base.
Yeah.
It's
like paying for a really expensive gun and then being like, now you have to shoot the guy, the next guy.
Now go kill Chinese people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to America, buddy. Club Aussies from a Canadian. Yeah. Dude, it's so crazy. These nuclear submarines just fell off the back of a pickup truck. That's why they're so mint and so cheap.
Are you referring
our most powerful weapons
to the block of nuclear waste that fell off the back of a pickup truck recently in Australia?
Wait, that's the thing that
I thought that was like, that's the most amazing reference I've ever heard.
No, I was just saying that's like a classic bit where they'll say like, oh, I got these radios, I got these stereos, they fell off the back of a pickup truck over here, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was nuclear waste that fell off the back of a pickup truck.
Literally like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Take them, foreign country. And then the US and UK will base submarines out of this port here in Australia. It's called Perth. Australian sailors will ride alongside US and UK sailors during submarine deployments. They will learn together, they will work together, they will share classified intelligence. What this means is that there will be a significantly larger number of submarines patrolling these waters. And remember, these are nuclear.
There's nothing weird about that.
No, they're talking about them like they're fish. Just like how they're just swimming around.
It's actually so good that this is happening. And that, why is China even remotely worried about that?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? These are defensive nuclear weapons
on their border.
Yeah, what? Like, so odd.
I love that what China's doing is saber-rattling.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
just a silent submarine just cruising around. No noise, no rattling.
You can't see it. Shut up, China. It's under the water. What do you
Australia
want?
defending their trade routes with China from China.
The best way to proceed was to get everyone in the one room.
Good thinking.
Okay, you're all right. I'll come straight to the point. This white paper is recommending we spend close to $400 billion over the forward estimates. Now, at some point, the PM is going to be asked a very simple question. In order to protect us from which enemy?
It's so hard to say.
400 billion, pick one.
A regional player.
Specifically, Colonel.
An Indo-Pacific regional player.
More specifically?
Indo-Asia Pacific.
That's broader. Who are you leaving out? Europe? Yeah, I sort of need a country.
An unaligned player.
No, a country.
One that might threaten us. Just one.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat said Laos.
I wouldn't want to raise tensions.
Where?
In this room.
You know what? I'll name one and you just nod. China. Yeah, okay. And what exactly are we protecting?
Strategic interests.
Specifically, Colonel?
Indo-Pacific strategic
Again,
interests.
Brigadier, really specifically.
Indo-Asia Pacific strategic
You know what?
interests.
I'll say it and then you nod. Our trade routes. Yeah? And who is our number one trading partner?
Shall we use the nod system?
Sure. China? Yeah. So under this scenario, we're spending close to $30 billion a year to protect our trade with China from China.
Yeah.
And that doesn't strike anyone at this table as odd?
I think one of the nicest things for us about being part of an American client state is that it gives lots of opportunities for satire. It creates our jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very funny.
If America wasn't in control of Australia, man, what would we even? We'd have nothing. I'd have to go back to working a normal job.
True. This is
Cardi.
not funny at all. Yeah, I know. It's not funny because it's very serious.
depressing.
But that's why it is funny.
It's Australian foreign policy. It's not funny. I mean, it's pretty funny. But you know, so I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing weird
Powered
about
submarines, which we made a whole video on as well. These things can be underwater for months. They can go on these long patrols over to Taiwan and the South China Sea. They can close up these key choke points, plugging holes in their growing line against China. And crucially, we can be pretty damn certain that a lot of these submarines will be carrying nuclear weapons, adding yet another layer of deterring power to an already really powerful line of defense. And if this wasn't enough,
Dude,
Some of the ones that we already launched.
You
on
have to
people in
have,
the region.
you have to have like, you have to double up on the the defense to protect the region.
Dude, nuclear weapons are the best defensive weapons.
Everyone knows. It's never been used as an offensive. It's only a deterrence measure.
And it's also
Australia
it's not
is
a real
al-
threat 'cause it's never even been used in this region.
Yeah.
Like
America is not. America has no interest in using their nuclear weapons on civilian territory, specifically on this map. Like a little bit, just like a little bit. If you peek up a little bit on the map, you might
excluded there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just this map they've never used it technically. So what do you have to say to that? Okay, there's nothing else on the map.
Also building a permanent hangar for US B-52 bombers up here in the Tyndall Air Base in northern Australia. These
more defensive weapons, famously, historically not used against, again, civilian positions. B-52 bombers, because they're so fucking large, oftentimes are they're defensive bombers, and they are defensively deployed on civilian territory to defensively eviscerate civilian territory.
I thought the way the bombers worked is that, like, when an enemy plane's there, they fly like a little bit above it and then drop the bombs onto that plane.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Bombs.
Yeah, that's how it works.
US bombers carry conventional weapons, but they also carry nukes. So now, US bombers carrying nuclear weapons will have a permanent home in Australia. There's going to be a lot.
He's talking about it like it's a puppy that you adopted. Oh, finally, these cuties, these little cutie patooties will have
Someone's
a permanent...
got to rehome these nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Man. They're out there. They got no owners.
You know what's so fucking annoying is that anytime there's like a proposition of making a nuclear reactor in Australia, massive petitions about it.
Yeah, everyone's like, no, they're going to destroy our country.
Yeah.
The submarines are in the water,
They're
dude.
in the water, it doesn't matter.
They're in the water. Come on. It's just, that's different.
Someone's like, why are you promoting Johnny Harris?
Everybody wants fat clams, okay?
Yeah,
that's like,
yeah.
that's...
Fat clams are fucking good.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Also, what happened? Didn't we watch a Johnny Harris like video a week ago and he wasn't that bad? He was kind of
yeah,
like,
it's
he was
a
bit
give and
dodgy.
take. It's a give and take. If he does like one kind of anti-America video, he has to do like 8 anti-China ones.
But also he does like irrelevant stuff like US coups, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
It's safe. You're
Shit that we've like declassified and flexed on openly.
Something the government says you're allowed to talk about now.
Yeah. Anyway, this is great. I think that the U.S. military is planning for a war with China. And then the entire video is like why these bases have to exist. And he literally said, it's great. It's great. Now there's nuclear submarines in the sea.
Australia gets nukes for free.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, it's awesome.
More military hardware in the Pacific because of this. Hardware that carries the most powerful and dangerous weapons we have. This is a very aggressive signal to China that the West is ready. So now, if you look at the whole thing, this whole chain, you see how robust this presence is. This is what that military official meant by transformative. The military name for this is the First Island Chain, and it is at the heart of the US and its allies' strategy to counter and contain China. And it's easy to see that this island chain, while protecting a lot of different interests for a lot of different countries, really centers on Taiwan. A major purpose for all of this militarization, the missiles, the subs,
in Taiwan.
the air bases, the troops, is to prepare for conflict in Taiwan. And this is where we get to the paradox of deterrence. You prepare to fight so that you don't have to fight. All of this preparation might be just what is needed for China to decide that it would be too costly to invade Taiwan.
Yeah, dude, totally. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, thank God. Oh my God. Thank God for the 385 billion Australian dollars, which is what, like 10 US dollars? That were spent on the nuclear submarines. So you could deter China from invading what the United States government, not me, the United States government claims is just more China. Okay? That's not me saying it. No. That's Anthony motherfucking Blinken saying it. Okay? That's what every American State Department official has said on record since Nixon. I'm just saying they just see it as more China with like, a little bit different of a system.
Other side of that paradox is that all of this looks an awful lot like overt escalation in a conflict. If you're China, This chain of islands is clearly your enemy trying to box you in, to monitor your every move. A superpower from the other side of the world flooding your region with more military hardware to stop your influence.
Yeah.
It would be impossible for this plan to not contribute to a rising of tensions between the two superpowers.
It's not
All
impossible
this
for it not
as
to.
the
It's like that's
U.S.
the intention
prepares
of it.
for
Yeah.
a potential conflict with China.
How close are we to
To contain Beijing.
Where are they trying to go? What
No,
are you talking about?
dude. I'm so glad that these guys are here to contain Beijing.
Like 95% of those weapons on Japanese islands are American.
Yeah. Shit take us on. Arrogant and ignorant. No, you're right. Beijing needs to be contained. That's why it's perfectly valid for.
That's such a modest and not arrogant take.
Yeah,
You're a
I'm
modest
so.
man.
No, I think like the only good take in the situation is if you say China are a bunch of genocidal, bloodthirsty monsters, and all of America's allies who came to the conclusion that they need to defend democracy against Chinese anti-democratic interests, have to do so by purchasing metric tons of U.S. munitions
And nukes.
and even nuclear submarines. Like, you got to do that. That's a thing that you have to do. Thank God. I hope everyone can take a deep breath at the top of the hour and recognize that I am, still pro-America all the way.
And modest.
Okay? And modest and not arrogant, finally. Finally, a non-arrogant take.
Also, just the nukes, so overkill. Like,
Yeah, come on.
what? The only use of a nuke is to blow up everything.
A city.
The entire city.
No, first of all, these are nuclear-powered submarines.
Oh.
That means they can be underwater for, months on end, okay? Secondly, even if they had nuclear warheads in the submarines, let's say, maybe. I mean, that stuff is classified. Who knows?
Yep.
Who knows if they have nuclear-powered submarines with nuclear warheads in them? They might. But even then, I present you with the alternative. Radiated clams.
Yep, I forgot about that.
That taste like steak.
Yeah.
I present you with the alternative. It's a defensive nuke.
Yeah.
Yes.
You shoot the nuke at another nuke in the air, and then it
Because just let China have Taiwan, Pepega. That's what. Yeah, this is all done to stop China from having Taiwan,
They
which
care
the
so
American government claims is more China. But but it's still, it's good to have this. It's just good to have it. Who amongst us does not need a couple spare nuclear warheads in a submarine?
It's nice.
Yeah.
I do feel safer. That's the one thing as an Australian. I feel like war is less likely in my country now that we have American bases and nukes.
Definitely.
I think the funniest part of this entire equation is that none of this shit matters, and the only thing that matters is trade. And every single country in this region, especially the United States of America and Australia, have incredible trade partnerships with China.
Yeah.
It's like their economy is reliant on Chinese manufacturing, and the Chinese economy is also reliant on U.S. purchases. So, and Australian purchases and vice versa. So ultimately, all of this shit is dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
Anyway, isn't the claim Taiwan is more China optics to make China happy? No. It's not optics to make China happy. It's just what they consider to be the truth, which they legitimately have always just been like, yeah, we're just going to say that, but like we're going to keep beefing up the island so that we can eventually use it as a fucking as a weapon against China. There's no optics in that situation. It's called lying. Or if you're in the U.S. government, it's called strategic ambiguity, which is another word for lying, okay? That's what it is. And it's not like they lie about this. They openly state it. Like I said, they just rename lying and say it's strategic ambiguity. Okay? Anyway, I forgot to run the top of the hour ad break, by the way, which comes at the top of the hour every hour. Oh, shit. The food is here, by the way. Literally being strategically ambiguous. Yes, exactly. Here is the 3-minute ad break now. There's no ambiguity there. It's not strategic. I just gave you the top of the hour ad break. Okay. More YouTube apologies need to use strategic ambiguity. Anthony Blinken coming out with a fucking ukulele to be like, toxic gossip train is finally here.
You see the one I sent to Aleksa?
What?
Oh yeah.
I've been already watching it.
Does that scare you?
This guy said, I'm a Nazi. Manhunt 3 protest. Hasan is a Nazi fascist.
Oh.
He got you.
Yeah. When your girlfriend accuses you of lying, just tell her that you're doing strategic ambiguity, okay? Like, excuse me, I'm doing strategic ambiguity to better recognize the interests of other people. I'm more thoughtful of other people that I've cheated on you with strategically. No mistake. Here, take a week off.
Aww.
Because appeasement works so well against Hitler. China today is as socialist as Hitler NSDAP was socialist. If you travel back in time to 1938, would you argue for selling out the Sudetenland? Or even more present, do you agree with the Europeans stand to build relationships with Russia since the late 90s? Because we have relationships, there will not be war.
Christ. Oh, it's just like after the first sentence, just take it for granted that China and Nazi Germany are synonymous.
Yeah,
Like,
you just have to. Also, you know what else is also the same as Nazi Germany? Russia as well.
Yeah.
Russia and China are the same as Nazi Germany. Just like Afghanistan was the same, the Taliban was the same as Nazi Germany. Vietnamese, the North Vietnamese liberation was the same as Nazi Germany, and the people in Iraq were the same as Nazi Germany. It's just always like whoever we choose to wage war against is the same as Nazi Germany. Make no mistake, we're never obviously coping with like a fuck ton of global imperialism that we're engaging in. It's always just and then trying to justify it by pointing to the one time that U.S. military action was just. Yeah, that hasn't been like the way to basically sell every fucking war to every American nonstop. Yeah. Everything about nukes feels so damn spiteful. Like if the enemy fires them, we're dead. I mean, yeah, it's called strategic deterrence. Mutually assured destruction. Anyway.
What about mutually assured seduction? That's what we should have instead.
Dude.
Well, what's a submarine if not like a giant dildo in the ocean?
Giant dick, yeah.
True.
Filled with horny men that have been underwater for 2 months.
Yeah, well, they're the Navy, so they're fucking each other.
Yeah,
Let's be real. I don't think they're interested in women all that much.
No.
There are men in China, lots of men in China.
Yeah, that's true. Too many. Actually, not enough. You are so popular. You are so popular. Why don't you use your platform to end the disagreements between China and America?
Yeah, why don't you get Xi on this podcast?
Dude,
on this podcast.
Yeah, because I love war. That's why. Also, I love the idea, the idea that like in all of those circumstances, like America has to be the one doing the just war in a defensive way, of course, always, and that like we could never be the Nazi Germany in that circumstance. Like we here in the United States, despite all of our endless bloodshed for the past, post World War II era contemporary history, could never be more similar to the genocidal freaks. Okay.
Between the two superpowers.
Oh, he's just German. Typical. Okay, never mind. He's yeah, we get it, guys. You guys fucked up. I know all of your grandfathers fucked up, so now you have to constantly fucking, toe America's line. That's the only way to, Okay, never mind. Let's continue.
All this as the U.S. prepares for a potential conflict with China.
How close are we to all-out conflict between the world's two largest superpowers.
继续沿着错误的道路狂飙下去，再多的护栏也挡不住脱轨翻车，陷入对抗冲突。
Chinese President Xi Jinping has already called this a policy of encirclement and suppression. And let's be honest, he's right.
Yes,
Whether you like it or
Johnny.
not, this is containment. Old school Cold War style containment. It's hard not to see it when you look at this map. And the Chinese foreign minister said that it would literally be impossible for China to not fight back, to take a move that retaliates against this move. Which means that if the US and its allies aren't careful with all of this, it may send a signal to China that now is the time to invade Taiwan, before all of this plan can fully be implemented. In that sense, this strategy could provoke the very conflict that it is trying to.
So if they get one more nuke, then China's gonna be like, oh, that's too
Yeah, it's
many.
done.
But not the level we have now. That's fine. We can deal with that.
I love still taking it at face value that it's like America trying to deter China from doing anything.
They don't care
It's just
about
like-
Taiwan at all. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, at least he finished with a bit of.
You're like, hey, you know what? China's right.
Yeah, that would have been great. Do you reckon Johnny watches people reacting to Johnny?
He made when we were watching Johnny last time, right? He made like a YouTube short.
Yeah,
of
but
his
wasn't it
son.
Hasan did something and he just went,
Yeah, he's like, maybe.
maybe, I don't know how I feel there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's in the credits unless you want to watch the credits.
Oh, maybe he does. There seems to be a Turkish guy in here.
Where?
Mustafa Jassim.
Is he Turkish?
I don't know.
Jassim? That's not a Turkish last name.
Sorry.
Come on, Aleksa.
What the fuck, bro? You keep thinking everyone's Turkish.
What about Tom Fox? That's kind of a
Tell
Turkish
him
name.
tell him what you said about how in the Balkans they call everyone Turks as a diss.
Oh, it's like a right-wing thing where some Serbs would call like Bosnians Turks or Albanians
Yeah.
Turks. It's like,
Because that's the worst thing you can possibly be.
yeah,
is
but fair
Turkish.
enough.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. Let's keep rolling the credits. I want to see if there's like a secret thing afterwards. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
like the Minions where you get a song
Oh, yeah,
after the
maybe he does a
credits?
little dance and
little
falls
song
over.
and dance. No? What?
Strategic and international studies. Let's see what that is.
Yeah, let's look that man up.
That's gonna be a fucking. Uh-oh.
The
wait,
first
how do I
picture
do it?
you see
Oh, wait,
is
I
just
don't know.
him.
Maybe I search it. This is how Hasan did it. He searched
Yeah,
it
you search
here.
it off screen so in case Greg Poling is a porn star, it doesn't come up with his. Sisk?
Find it on Wiki.
No, search Jet his name. See what that man specifically does. Foreign policy think tank.
Where's its cash come from?
That should be a part of.
Been dedicated to finding ways to sustain American prominence and prosperity as a force for good in the world.
Yeah, okay. Very convenient. So is it CIA?
We need your help.
What?
Well, at the end of the video, it was like, this is videos thanks to the Center for Strategic and International Studies. So I just want to see what kind of think tank.
I mean, when in doubt, always assume it's CIA.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
When in doubt, I always say, it's, wait, what happened? Mayday, Mike is fucked again?
Come on.
What do you keep doing, Aleksa?
I don't know.
Is it any good? Is it working? Please. Please tell me you can hear my voice. My beautiful voice.
Nope, dead, it's off.
Fuck.
Shit.
Do the old in and out. Oh, should we...
Check Dixerto Twitter? Why? Hold on, I'm what the fuck? Now I can't take it off. I don't know why it's like this. This has never been a problem, really. It's just like a recent development.
That's a joke, right?
What?
Wait, Ice Poseidon? That's not. Is that real?
Yeah, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Okay, I don't give a fuck. Y'all are dumb as fuck. Yeah, I don't give a shit about that. At all, okay? Real life lore on the Taiwan Strait trade.
This video is made possible by Curiosity Stream and Nebula. Watch another brand new full-length companion video to this one in my ongoing Modern Conflict series that explains the entire course of the ongoing conflict inside of China's Xinjiang province and the genocide of the Uyghur people who live there, along with 14 other
What's going on in the Xinjiang province? I'm confused.
full-length episodes with more than 5 hours of combined content covering other major 21st century conflicts, all of which you can access by signing up for the Curiosity Stream Nebula.
Well, it's now like a tourist destination, as far as I understand. It's like
it's set up.
They already dealt with whoever they consider to be like a separatist. I'm sure there's still mass surveillance going on, but even like even the Associated Press was like, all right, genocide over, guys. Yeah. Pack it up. Yeah. They packed it up. The re-education camps are done.
Dangerous body of water anywhere in the world for the 21st century, and the most likely place where the Third World War could be triggered from. 7 different powers exist around this sea's perimeter: China, Taiwan, Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Brunei. And they all bitterly disagree over their competing
Brunei mentioned POG.
Regional power.
You got a shout out, guys.
Let's go.
Maritime claims here. Vietnam claims this much, the Philippines claims this much, Malaysia claims this much, while Brunei claims this much. All 4 of these nations' maritime claims in the South China Sea overlap the other 3 in at least 1 other location, and so they all have, to an extent, disagreements with all the others. But all 4 of them are significantly more united against the much more dramatic and sweeping maritime claims of the 5th power to enter into the equation here, the People's Republic of China, who claims for its...
They entered the equation later. Yeah, they came into the fold out of nowhere. It's crazy.
Nearly the entirety of the whole...
Wait, Real Life Lore claims Scottish independence threatened NATO not that long ago? Oh my god, that's awesome.
At the tremendous expense of everybody else's claims around it, in what they call the 9-dash line. Through this claim, China asserts that around 90% of the entire South China Sea are the exclusive territorial waters of China, which not only brings it...
If one more motherfucker says there's an echo coming through the microphone, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Yes, dude, yes.
But if you turn the noise gate on and we just scream like
Shut up. Take a week off. Shut the fuck up. Audio pedophiles, shut the fuck up. You're a freak, dude. Oh, I have an open back $700,000 studio headphone, and I'm hearing your ass cheeks clenching here, and it's actually really fucked up.
Surely you only buy those
headphones because
you want to hear someone's ass clench.
Oh my god, dude.
It into direct conflict with the overlapping claims of Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Brunei, but with the United States as well. Beijing's claim to most of the sea as territorial waters means that they also believe they have the authority to approve or deny any foreign navy from operating within it whenever they feel like it. To which the United States, owner of the world's most powerful navy, fiercely disagrees. Washington considers the boundaries here to instead line up roughly with the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, the international law benchmark generally accepted by most other countries in the world that would ordinarily establish the maritime boundaries in the South China Sea to look more like this, with 12-mile territorial water stretching out from everybody's coastlines, and 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zones stretching beyond that through the open ocean that anyone's navy can sail through without any permission at any time. These different maps over the same area, one believed by Beijing, others believed by Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Brunei, and another believed by Washington, are all directly at odds with each other and are shoving both of the superpowers into an increasingly dangerous conflict. In order to further enforce their claims, the Chinese have begun rapidly constructing entirely new islands within the sea, covered by naval and air bases bristling with
and
the
America
latest
just takes over other
firepower,
people's
while
islands.
the United States has continued their own naval and air patrols despite all of the Chinese warnings. And while on the surface, it
which
may
is good
appear that
and
China's
normal.
territorial claims here in this sea are overly
what's that stupid little one they
ambitious,
control?
ridiculous, or even
Guam?
reckless.
Guam, yeah.
Their claim is in fact rooted in
That
Beijing's own
stupid little
fear
one.
of the single greatest geopolitical weakness that plagues all of the strategic thinking of the modern Chinese state. A
guy
weakness
sucks.
that
He's
is
so much-
so
he's
enormous
further
it
right
could
than
potentially
Johnny.
end up destroying the entire country if it ever becomes properly exploited. And yet so small that it only stretches 1.5 miles wide. It is essentially China's equivalent to the Death Star's exhaust port, and it is located right here. The Strait of Malacca, the strategic gate
Malacca.
between the Pacific and Indian
Where my
Oceans,
Greeks at?
between the Malay Peninsula in the north and the Indonesian island of Sumatra in the south. This natural choke point is geographically the shortest possible path for container and cargo vessels traveling by sea to take while traveling between Europe, the Middle East, and Africa on one side, and East Asia over on the
just
other.
laughing at the
As a
name
result,
Malacca.
around $3.5 trillion worth of global trade passes through these gates and across the sea
It's
lanes
the
of the
furthest
South
east
China Sea every
Alexander the Great ever
single
made
year,
it.
including
The
an
Strait of Malacca.
overwhelming
He's like, "Fuck this, I'm going home,
2/3
Malacca."
of China's entire maritime trade volume. 40% of nearby Japan.
Which is why it should belong to America. Okay. Asked and answered. Like, shut the fuck up, everybody. What do you mean? I don't get it. I see no problem here.
Yep.
And by America, I mean like not directly America, but indirectly through like a client state.
Japan's entire maritime trade, and nearly 1/3 of the total volume of all worldwide trade. But perhaps most critically for you to understand is that these
Also, it goes back to the same like Aussie joke that we watched earlier, which is like we need to preserve these we need to preserve these trade routes from Chinese influence, so that the Chinese that are utilizing this trade route won't
to bring us all that stuff.
they won't somehow, I don't know, ruin the trade route that they have with us.
These flows of trade usually also
funny to say
include
that while
around
actively
15
trying to destroy that
million
trade
barrels
route.
of oil a
As
day,
Americans
and around
and
1/3
Australians.
of all the world's traded liquefied natural gas, or LNG. China and Japan, the world's second and third largest global economies respectively, each rely on this single strait for a whopping 80% of all their imports of oil, primarily
I hate
coming
about
in from
these
Iran and the Arab
science
states
history
around the
channels.
oil-rich Persian Gulf.
Yeah, because
Imports
everything's
that
a
are
fact, but obviously
especially
nothing's a
critical
fact.
for China,
You change
as
it and you pick
imported
what you
oil
want.
from abroad makes up.
What are you saying?
I said that everything's presented as a fact, but obviously you still pick the fact. And you say what you want, and then it's presented in this way that's like neutral, you know? It's like, no, everything, it's all political. Stop pretending it's not. Like,
No, this is neutral. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yep.
China wants to. It's really weird that China wants to encroach on any kind of trade routes that they maintain, and make sure that it's not controlled by America.
75% of China's entire oil consumption, which ultimately means that roughly 60% of China's entire supply of oil passes through just these 1.5 miles. But China is heavily reliant on this choke point not only because of the energy resources they import through it, but because of the massive volumes of manufactured goods that they also export through it as well to Europe. Exports that largely prop up the very foundation of the modern Chinese economy. These realities lead to a rather obvious problem. If the Strait of Malacca, at only 1.5 miles wide at the narrowest point, were to somehow become obstructed or blocked for a significant amount of time, China's entire economy and society would essentially collapse if given a long enough time. This is because there simply aren't really any
Okay, but like, why is he talking like China is just doing trade with aliens or something?
Yeah.
Like those goods are going somewhere. Who are those goods going to, man?
Yeah.
Right, who's buying them? Like, you think it would just be the Chinese economy that collapses? What the fuck?
Yeah, it's so strange.
I don't really understand that.
Good enough geographic alternatives for China's energy imports and manufactured exports to travel through. Any other possible maritime trade routes getting to and from the Chinese East Coast would have to reroute around
I saw another gap there.
and either pass through any of the number of other easily blockadable choke points through the thousands of islands in the Indonesian archipelago, or pass along the long open ocean route around the southern side of Australia.
What is he describing now?
why
He's
back
describing
in 2003,
holes in mountains
just
like
months
it's a
after
unique
the United
thing as
States
well.
invaded the very oil-rich nation of Iraq, the Chinese president of the time, Hu Jintao, warned of what he called China's Malacca dilemma, the risk of what he referred to as certain hostile foreign powers, like the United States, India, Australia, or others, could blockade Malacca and easily sever China.
Y'all trying to block Malacca or what?
We are.
Well, now you got nuclear submarines, dude.
Let's do it. You could stack 10 of them and block the fucking Strait of Malacca like that.
Yeah.
Just move it up and down. Like, what was that boat? Green,
Ever
whatever.
Given.
Ever Green, Ever Given. Let's do that. Maybe the Ever Given was a practice.
yeah,
for
in the
Strait of
Suez
Malacca.
Canal.
Yeah. Now they're building a really big boat to block it.
Yeah.
Famously, when that happened, it only hurt the Egyptian economy.
yeah, exactly.
Everyone was like, "Oh, it sucks to be Egyptian right about now."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, where's my vibrator?
China's critical lifelines of energy and strangle Beijing, and thus China's domination over the South China Sea, pushing China's influence directly to the Strait of Malacca itself, became of imperative importance to Beijing's own national security. But fascinatingly, it didn't always used to be like this, because China's current crippling dependence on importing energy from abroad and relying so heavily on the Strait of Malacca is a fairly recent development historically. After all, China is actually, in fact, one of the world's largest producers of oil domestically. They are the 6th largest oil producer in the world today and roughly equivalent to Iraq, with many very large reserves scattered across their northwest, northeast, and immediately offshore. Back in the 1970s and 80s, China used these big reserves to not only be completely oil self-sufficient, but to actually even become an oil exporting nation, primarily to the Japanese, who have basically zero domestic oil reserves of their own and have always been a massive oil importer for their entire...
So funny.
He said it like the Japanese.
Yeah, sucks to be you.
Also, the Japanese are part of the people who are supposedly meant to like hold up this blockade against their main oil exporter.
What a bunch of lamos. Sorry, did your island not have any oil reserves? Lamau. Oh,
Their
man.
modern history as a result. But back at this time, the Chinese economy was absurdly tiny compared to what it is today, accounting for only 1.6% of the entire global economy as recently as just 1987. But beginning in the mid-1980s, China's economy began to experience the era of incredibly explosive and rapid growth. And with that growth came an ever-increasingly hungry economy for more and more energy to continue sustaining and growing it. And by 1993, China crossed a historic turning point that it would never cross back from right up until the present day.
Guy uses logos from
Domestic oil
Civilization
production,
6.
while
that
large,
what it was? Yeah.
not large
No.
enough to keep up with their economy's growing demand. And they had to start importing oil from abroad for the first time in modern history, as China's economy continued to keep seeing meteoric growth year after year, and the hunger for energy continued increasing alongside of it. China suddenly became the world's largest consumer of energy by 2009. the second largest importer of petroleum behind the United States in 2011, and then even surpassed the US to become the new #1 largest importer of petroleum by 2016, and then overtook Japan to become the world's largest importer of LNG just last year in 2021. Now, these days, despite having the world's 6th largest amount of oil reserves, domestic oil production only meets the demand for 20% of China's 1.4 billion person economy. And that means that China imports around 80% of all of its oil, the vast majority of its natural gas, and consumes about 25% of all the energy used by humanity. But unlike the countries who make up the West, China's mixture of energy use is rather different because the vast majority of China's energy consumption continues to be overwhelmingly based on coal. And for very logical reasons from China's own national security perspective, because comparatively to oil or gas, China actually possesses enormous amounts of coal, roughly 13% of all the coal in the world, in fact. Coal is therefore, in general, a reliable and stable source of energy that China can tap into directly without the need for relying on geopolitically complicated imports. And so,
like a year
coal
ago,
represents
or 2
around
years ago, they announced that they're
60%
not going to build any more coal-fired power plants.
China needs a Donald Trump figure to bring back good, clean coal, I think.
I love coal.
Kind of fucked us up because that was Australia's main export.
currently consumes. Oil ranks second at just 20%, natural gas in a distant third at just 6%, while alternatives like nuclear and renewables make up the remaining combined 14%. This essentially means that with 80% of oil imported and nearly all natural gas imported, China must rely on imports to meet more than 1/5 of their entire energy consumption. And most of all of that comes from just a single place, the Persian Gulf, the planet's largest concentration of hydrocarbon resources like oil and gas ever discovered. 1/4 of the world's oil and 35% of the world's natural gas reserves exist around its shores, separated from the Chinese east coast not by one, but two major geopolitical choke points. The Strait of Hormuz that separates the Gulf from the Indian Ocean, and the Strait of Malacca that separates the Indian Ocean from the Pacific Ocean. 80% of China's imported hydrocarbon supplies come from here and pass through both of these choke points, either of which could theoretically be strangled by the American Navy during a time of war, which is an important factor for Chinese military strategists to
Once again, I don't know why he's like describing this as though nationalism is not a weapon that capitalists wield and that nationalism could overtake capitalist interests. That just can't happen. Fundamentally speaking, or at least historically speaking, fascism is used as a way to strike order at times when the capitalist organization of the economy has created tensions and volatility, instability. It's never putting the cart before the horse. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because what he's saying would be like America has so much nationalist interest that they fuck their own corporate interests up. Because it's not like China is sending these commodities through these points to, I don't know, some random fucking unrelated entity. They're sending it to Europe. They're sending it to America. This is manufacturing for Western corporations happening.
But could it be like just forward-thinking corporations that are like, we're going to get dwarfed by Chinese ones eventually? This is the way to stop it. Like a temporary L for, ensuring your position at the top.
I think it's a suicide pact at that point. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But
also, all this video has done is just told us trade routes in 13 minutes. Really.
Consider when contemplating Beijing's long-time ultimate foreign policy objective, the subjugation of Taiwan beneath Beijing's direct rule. The long-standing policy coming from Beijing is that Taiwan is not an independent country, but merely a rebellious province of China. Taiwan, of course, for all intents and purposes, truly is a de facto independent country in nearly every conceivable way except for name. And that's because Beijing has been incredibly explicit for years now that if Taiwan were to ever formally make a move towards an outright declaration of independence, separating itself from China, Beijing would unconditionally utilize military force and even go to war to prevent it from happening. Beijing knows that if the time ever comes when diplomacy has failed and they mobilize for war and an invasion of Taiwan across the Taiwan Strait, it would likely also mean going to war against Taiwan's greatest defender and supporter, the United States. In that event, the American Navy would be almost certain to at least attempt a blockade of the Malacca Strait in order to starve China's military and society out of their critical supplies of fuel. Militaries run on oil.
At no point have we asked, like, why does America have control over these trade routes?
Yeah. What are they doing in this strait?
Like, he's talking about, like, oh, man, China fucking doesn't want Taiwan to breathe. China doesn't want Taiwan to exist. Which, by the way, the American government, which controls all those trade routes, also has the same position as Beijing. But not once have we asked the question, like, what the fuck is America doing there? I don't understand that.
Like, imagine if it was the other way around and China just had stuff in
the Gulf of Mexico.
In the Gulf of Mexico. Just like, oh, we're just making sure nothing happens here, guys.
Just keeping an eye on it for you.
Just keeping an eye off.
Don't worry about it.
Just making sure our ships get in.
And under this scenario, with 80% of China's oil imports suddenly blockaded, the clock would begin to tick for Beijing. China controls one of the largest strategic reserves of petroleum on the planet. But even that has only enough when at full capacity to, based on estimates, last their entire normal consumption rate for only around 90 days. If they haven't achieved their objectives in Taiwan, and the Americans are still keeping up the block...
What do you reckon will take longer? Like 90 days of China without electricity or 90 days of America without all its treats from China? Like 90 days without Sheen. That's like 1,000 new designs.
I think America would probably collapse quicker.
With how lean our logistics are nowadays, 90 full days without Chinese trade would literally collapse the Western world.
Yeah.
Like, because it's not just like tasty treats and shit. There's plenty of components that like Western manufacturers need that they're getting from that area.
Every single electronic component.
Also from Taiwan as well.
Chips, microchips.
Which is now under Chinese rule, like fully. Okay? So what the fuck are you going to do in that situation? Yeah, our just-in-time manufacturing is going to kill us 100%. I mean, dude, look at what happened. Look at what has happened time and time again. Like, whenever there's any kind of issue, whenever there's any kind of bottleneck. Look at COVID. I mean, I think 90 days with no trade from China would be significantly worse for the Western world than vice versa. I mean, it would just be terrible in general, which is why it shouldn't happen.
Blockade of Malacca, after those 90 days or so are up, then the Chinese will begin being forced to dramatically ration their fuel supplies and massively divert civilian resources over to the war effort. This ultimately means that on day one of a blockade of Malacca situation, Beijing gets left with really only two options. Give in to the American demands for peace immediately and withdraw from their invasion in exchange for opening back up their supply lines, or dramatically expand the scope of the war and attack.
Like, it's so strange that he's not covering that component at all. Like, America's interest is having maintaining the relationship with China as a really important trade partner, it completely removes that from the equation. It's like, oh yeah, we'd be fucking going gung ho. Like how? What do you do in that situation? It makes no sense here. Just toss all that in the bag. Man, that was fucking good. The Aussie Boys love Chipotle.
Oh,
They
it's my
fucking
favorite food in America.
It's probably the best. Is it considered fast food? Because if it is, it's the best. It's by far the best fast food.
No, incomparable.
It's
I mean, I've had some really shitty ones too, but we've had good luck with Chipotle so far.
It's great. Big servings as well.
Yeah.
Awesome servings.
The American Navy directly in an attempt to break the blockade. Or, even almost unthinkably, attack the American
Chick-fil-A is
Navy
great as
first before the invasion of Taiwan even begins, in order to deliver a crippling blow before they could enact the blockade. This 21st century situation rhymes eerily with that of the United States and Japan in the previous century. In August of 1940,
Yeah, we had a similar trade relationship with Japan, where Japan was famously manufacturing everything that we were using, and you know, they relied on us for purchasing all the goods that they were manufacturing for us. So that's why it's like pretty similar.
America, who at the time supplied some 80% of the oil to the Japanese Empire, slapped an embargo on their supply, leaving the Japanese with almost the exact same two choices that could be left to China this century. And against all the conventional wisdom of the time within the West, Japan ultimately chose the latter and seemingly more insane option by dramatically expanding the scope of the war and attacking.
Japan was 100% relying on American resources on oil. Yeah, but
America had nothing to
again,
lose.
I don't know why no one is seeing this. The real reason why America and China are not fucking warring and just saber-rattling is not because we're just like too afraid of war or because Americans are like pacifists or something, okay? It's because of the one factor that he's not mentioning. It's trade. It's the metric ton of goods that fucking manufacturing and shipping a metric ton of goods every single fucking minute that's coming out of China and directly into European markets, directly into the United States of America. It doesn't make any sense. There's no similarity between any other nation. I don't even think there's ever been a similarity throughout history. This is a byproduct of globalization. It has never been like this before, where nation states had some, or actually a lot of autonomy from one another and could engage in like isolationist policies if they chose to do so. But ultimately, that reality is in the past. We do not have that anymore because we rely on Chinese manufacturing. I don't know why people just neglect that.
I think the mistakes can still happen. Like, the more you build up, something can go wrong. Like, even if it's against people's material interest.
Especially when it comes to tech shit. It's just, or in electronics, it's like damn near the entirety. The West has been stripped of manufacturing. It would take the entire West at least a decade of full-blown growth to get even close. Yeah. Anyway, not such a hot take, but no one started Chinese-American war for Taiwan because they both profit from Taiwan being one of the biggest chipset manufacturers. Wouldn't the reduction of exports reduce the resource demand too in this situation? I like the green guys, like anarcho-primitivists being like, well, that's technically good for the world. You know what I mean?
Decouple China and America.
we'd stop doing resource extraction in the third world. Motherfuckers will only understand if you say no iPhone. Yeah, no iPhone. America would become Vuvuzela no iPhone. Literally.
The American Navy in a preemptive strike at Pearl Harbor. And the result was a brutal 4-year-long total war across the Pacific that ended in 2 nuclear strikes. Today, it's a chilling thought to consider how a similar and logical series of events could end up playing out again.
It just ended.
And in the 21st century,
Just
the
kinda happened
United
at the end.
States is far from alone in their opposition to Beijing. There is also the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, or the Quad for short.
He's about to mention every single country that we have either done, like, not dissimilar things that we've done to Japan, but like specifically similar things in forms of like in terms of maintaining whatever kind of governance they have. Like every single other country that's unified in their fear against Chinese hegemonic power are countries that we have manipulated into having like some kind of one-party governance.
Sort of security alliance between the United States, Japan, India, and Australia that Beijing derides as the Asian version of NATO. And then there is also the AUKUS, the Trilateral Security Pact between Australia, the United Kingdom, and the United States for mutual defense policy in the Indo-Pacific that is helping Australia acquire crucially important nuclear-powered submarines.
Thank you.
Were China to attack Taiwan or the American Navy and enter into war with the
It's crucial.
You're like Australia mentioned. Let's go.
United States, it would also most likely mean a greater conflict with the other Quad and AUKUS members of Japan, India, Australia, and the United Kingdom as well, who all share.
I love having the UK in that.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you could not be further away.
You could be Greenland. What about
like?
Well, you could be America.
Yo, like homie's on the team for some reason. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you guys doing up there? What's going on? You're part of this coalition?
Just thinking about China.
Yeah.
I wonder what they're doing in
It's just
China.
the dream team of racism, all together.
England and its penal colonies that engaged in indigenous genocide. Or vassal states. Literally. Oh, man.
A mutual interest in containing Beijing and who all combined have a significantly more powerful and capable group of navies that could likely overwhelm China's in the Indo-Pacific and undermine all of China's objectives. Therefore, being well aware of this enormous problem now for decades, the Chinese have been taking tremendous steps to make sure that they can overcome it by any and all means necessary. The first and most obvious way has been to dramatically expand the power, budget, and capabilities of the Chinese Navy in order to more directly compete at sea with the fleets of the Quad and AUKUS allies. Within the past 20 years, the Chinese military budget has exploded by more than 6-fold. Using the latest comparative numbers, the Chinese military budget is now at around $240 billion a year.
That's terrifying. That's cheaper than our submarines.
Yeah, we bought
That's
from
terrifying.
America.
I hate hearing that. It makes me so scared. Yeah. It makes me so scared. It's got to be. I mean, that's a lot of money. It's got to be the largest budget, right?
Yeah,
in the world, probably, right?
Pretty sure that's more than $1 trillion.
Yeah, no, it's got to be like. Let's look at. I mean, I don't know. Let's fact check military budgets.
Do you know what it is off by heart? I haven't. I don't even guess.
Around 900
trillion?
No.
Billion.
Let's
I
look
think it
at
just
like.
passed over $1 trillion, but I don't know if that was just for 1 year or what that was.
Let's look at the military budgets, military expenditures globally. Oh, the United States in 2019 was we're 848 billion now. By the way, I can tell you, this was 700 billion in 2019. And then the rest of the world is 241 billion total.
We're 25.
China is at 261 billion.
But they always mention like 6-fold increase. Instead of just say like now they're
a fourth or a third.
I think the 800 billion is only discretionary. I think with mandatory is 1.1 trillion. Yeah, it increases every year. It depends. It's defensive. It's totally defensive.
Those defensive nukes that Australia just
yeah, it's defensive. Of course, the reason why this is this size and the rest of the world is this size is because this also does it for the rest of the world. You know.
Well, it's like Australia's $270 billion thing. Like, we're buying them from America, so it's
and we're using them in America
for America.
Yeah.
Year, more than what the Soviet Union spent on their military at the height of the Cold War in the late 1980s, even when adjusted for inflation today, while the United States spends more than 3 times them at around $850 billion a year, or around 70% of what they were spending back during the Cold War when adjusted for inflation. Worldwide, China and the United States alone represent roughly half of all global military spending, and China is continuously narrowing this gap. By the end of this year, the Chinese Navy is expected to possess 4 aircraft carriers, and they plan to have 5 by next year, compared to America's 20. This naval arms race between the reigning great power, the United States, and the rising one, China, contains another eerily haunting historical rhyme.
Like, the only analysis here is basically, if you're looking at it and you're like, China bad, and that's my perspective. Because, like, he just glances over America's insane military budget, and that's not scary. That's good because it's for defending democracy at the global stage. Okay, but then he's like, well, the Chinese military spending has grown, which is terrifying. Like, okay.
The naval arms race of the early 20th century for battleships between the reigning great power, Britain, and the rising one, Germany. Germany's economy finally overtook Britain's.
China deadly to Muslims. Yeah, dude. Famously, the United States of America certainly is not significantly more deadly to each and every Muslim nation on the planet. Yeah. Like, literally, that's an insane thing to say. Like, I'm not even going to sit here and act like, you know, there isn't mass surveillance and there wasn't any kind of like, cultural genocide, if you want to call it that, or some kind of like re-education of Muslim Uyghurs in Xinjiang. There certainly was. It's done now, according to the Associated Press. But the notion that the United States of America, actually, you know what? There's a really funny quote. I forget where I read it, and I always try to find it, but I have a hard time. Hold on. U.S. surveillance measures. I remember, and I can never fucking find it, but I remember when asked about the state of Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang, Xi Jinping straight up fucking said, well, we knew that this was a big threat to our national security because we saw it from the United States of America, which, by the way, is probably one of his worst takes, I'll admit. You know what I mean?
But maybe he was just trying to get America on his side there. And it was like, look, guys, it's the same reason that you were doing it. You know, well, you said that's what we're saying.
They're trying to appease Americans. Like, look, we hate Muslims too.
Terrorism, eh?
Am I right? It's kind of hurting us all.
Yeah. India literally having weekly lynchings of Muslims, and we invited Modi to the fucking White House. Also true. Forgot about that one for a second. Anyway. So the idea... Yeah, the idea that, like, China's policy in Xinjiang is reactionary and wrong. Meanwhile, we're funding straight genocide in Gaza, which is one of the many. Like, the United States has an involvement, in a negative way, in every single Muslim populated nation on the planet. Okay? Like, that's just one. Gaza is only one component. It's just unimaginable. The cruelty is unimaginable. It's like looking at like a tickle party in comparison to like mass enslavement and incarceration of people, and then hyper focusing on the fucking little slap that like a 5-year-old gave you or something, instead of the dude enslaving your family. Like, it's ridiculous. Anyway, move to China then, bro. Sure, the mansion will be cheaper than LA. First of all, you're not wrong. Secondly, I just don't speak any fucking Mandarin. And lastly, the only component that stops me from moving to a country like China, for example, is the fact that they do not have the same free speech, lack of limitations on free speech that the United States of America has, that I enjoy, that I very openly admit, for the record. So, you know. And also porn is banned, which is kind of fucked up.
In 1910, after decades of continuously rising and catching up, and then 4 years later, saw the outbreak of the First World War between them. At the same time,
why don't you move to X country doesn't really hit the same for China. It's like saying, like, why don't you move to France, dude? Like, why don't you move to fucking, why don't you move to Italy, dog? If you fucking hate America so much, it's like, oh, okay, well.
It'll be a bit different. I got to learn a language first.
I mean, there's still some issues there, but like ultimately, you're making it seem like we're moving to I don't know, the fucking tropical jungle or something, like with no working water.
Yeah,
like it's not.
It's also just annoying though, because it's saying like, what, you're not allowed to criticize another country or your own country.
Yeah,
like what's wrong with doing that? You only have to move to a country and then just shut up.
Yeah.
Then once you're there, you're like, no, I'm gonna stop talking.
the Chinese possess
which, by the way, ironically, you can't really criticize that country when you're there.
That's the advantage of geographic proximity to the most major theaters of any future potential conflict. America's most significant Indo-Pacific bases are far away from Malacca and the South China Sea, at Diego Garcia, Guam, Okinawa, Pearl Harbor, and the United States West Coast. Whereas,
bro, streamers are actually way more mainstream in China than over here. Yeah. Also, the 6 top streamers literally got arrested, well, they went away. We don't know if they got arrested or not, with only one coming back to stream, like literally last month. So, you know, it was, I think, tax related.
Went away.
But you know, stuff like that happens all the time, and I'm not too fond of that. So
no.
You know, they just stopped streaming. I think it was tax fraud related. Yes, I know. But even then, it's like,
yeah.
That's one of the nice things about America, though. It's easier to get away with tax fraud, and that's why we come here all the time.
Yeah, 100%.
China has been investing aggressively into numerous naval and air bases built out of nothing across the tiny coral atolls of the South China Sea itself,
They're trying to
giving
impress
their
the
ships
Americans.
and planes proximity to both the Malacca and Taiwan Straits.
We're getting up to a bit of mischief on this, Reese.
This is why China seems so aggressive in enforcing their ambitious territorial claims to the South China Sea by building up all of these island bases
I think it's in the Pacific.
to safeguard their access to the Malacca Strait and to ensure that their own critical import and export sea lanes remain open even during a major international crisis. If that means inflaming
I
relations.
like that he literally said it would remain open in major international crisis. So the first 20 minutes of this video is insignificant.
Yep.
And almost entirely inconsequential.
With Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Brunei, then so be it, from Beijing's perspective. It's a calculated price that they're willing to pay for the greater security of the state. But perhaps the biggest way that Beijing is attempting to overcome their Malacca dilemma is not through increased naval power, but through increased methods of getting their energy into the country from abroad. For thousands of years now, goods have traveled across the Eurasian continent between China and the West through vast expanses of mountains, deserts, and steppes across what is known as the Silk Road. It was through this ancient trade route that Chinese inventions like paper and gunpowder made their way westwards. And now in the modern 21st century, the Chinese are attempting to revive this same idea of the ancient Silk Road of the past.
I hate that. That makes me very scared.
Silk Road?
Yeah, and very angry. I hate that. Yeah. Again, you know, just like at Nord Stream, I hate it when there's any kind of initiatives to like improve trade.
Yeah,
with a foreign adversary. I immediately start thinking like, well, I don't like that. You know, nobody asked America about that. Just really fucked up.
for Beijing's energy, transportation, and export needs in the present. And
No, you can't say that. Nope. See, this is what I don't take. No, fuck that. You can't say that, especially if you're American. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Look at the last 20 years of Chinese prosperity and then compare it to the United States of America. How dare you? How dare you say China is not so good to its citizens? Like, yeah, there aren't the same level of like social libertarianism that you get in the United States of America. You can't fucking watch porn. You can't say whatever the fuck you want about the government or whatever very publicly and openly. But the idea that like China is not so good to its citizens when they have engaged in a tremendous amount of like even development where you can look at like rural areas modernizing. You can look at all the tier 1 cities that they fucking built and then sit there in the United States of America where your fucking infrastructure is rotting to the fucking core that is still resting on the laurels of like prior social democratic formations in the American government, like the fucking FDR era development of infrastructure that you just fucking sit there and act like, oh man, China's not so good to its citizens. Nah, fuck that. I'm not taking that. Okay. That's bullshit. That actually is fucking bullshit. You know what that is? That's copium. Okay. You and I are stuck here sitting around constantly fucking going, oh, well, you know, our situation is dire elsewhere. Like, let's not make any, let's not take the initiative. Let's not make any amends. Let's not engage in any kind of like serious infrastructure spending. Get the fuck out of here. China isn't good just because America isn't good either. Like, you know better than this. No, I never said that like, oh, China is the best place or the best country or anything like that. But
That's what
if you're going to
said.
fucking
That's
sit
not what
there.
Hassan said.
Yeah, he says that. But it's not like, but you can't fucking sit there and act like Chinese development has been bad for Chinese citizens. That's stupid. And you especially can't say that in the United States of America. Come on now. It's just, it seems like we are all collectively angry because we just feel like our time in the spotlight is coming to an end. And everybody kind of understands that a little bit, where they're just like trying to cope with that reality. They're trying to cope with that reality by being like, well, you know, at the top of the hour, there is a 3-minute ad break, but I'm just going to fucking close my eyes. Like, you can't do that. You can't close your eyes. It's going to come for you unless you subscribe for $5 or free with a Twitch Prime. Okay.
I think that was my favorite.
Yeah,
that was my favorite.
This is such a dumb argument. I know people who have lived in China, they do not describe an authoritarian hellscape that everyone tries to make it seem like. I've said this before, and this is from my interactions with Chinese people that live in China, that or at least they think that this is a very accurate way to describe it. As long as you keep your head down and, you know, do your work and go to work, live your life, you know, you have all the amenities, the Chinese population, and it's not a monolith, obviously, has an overarching understanding that the government is taking care of them. And why wouldn't they feel that way when they've seen an insane amount of development over the course of their fucking lives? Not even just their grandparents' lives or not even just their parents' lives. They have literally seen it with their own 2 fucking eyes. Okay? So the idea is basically that as long as you don't fucking speak out against the government or say some fucking ridiculous shit that normally you could easily get away with saying in the United States of America, which is why I like living here rather than anywhere else, that you're fine. You have this understanding, this sense of like Chinese prosperity, the idea that like, you know, the Chinese government is taking care of you and they believe in it. They legitimately believe in it. That they're doing their best. As long as you don't speak out against the government, which is, I think, a severe erosion of civil liberties. I do agree that it's fine. Like things are good. You could make the same arguments about Americans. A lot of them say America's number one and they love it, but that doesn't make it true. Wait, what? No, I can't say the same arguments about America. You want to know why? Because America isn't actually engaging in any kind of American prosperity. No. The only kind of American prosperity is like, oh, well, look at the GDP, or look at how many billionaires we have. Look at literally entirely wholesale fake industries like Silicon Valley. Look at how incredible they've been. Every single disruptive technological advancement made by Silicon Valley has just been, let's make it an app so we can avoid labor restrictions that were already set in place. Okay, whether it be Uber or Uber Eats or any other kind of thing, it's quite literally just new surveillance technology or just another way to disrupt pre-existing labor regulations. Okay, and that entire economy is propped up by quantitative easing. So it's not like that economy is real either. Look at all the money being churned out of Silicon Valley. Is really funny saying it now when we are no longer engaging in quantitative easing, when the interest rates are increasing, and that has single-handedly disrupted, or rather destroyed, a gigantic part of our industry. Okay? So don't tell me that the situation is the same here. You can make the same arguments. Just look at one fucking map. Look at one fucking map of high-speed rail in China from 2000 to 2023. And then look at that same map in the United States of America. It's a much easier map to draw because there is none. Okay? Come on.
You should go to China. It's pretty fucking crazy to see.
Yeah.
I want to, but I think I have criticized the China a little bit too much, ironically. Even though if you ask my fucking chat, I'm like the #1 dick rider of China. There's a ton of corruption in their own government. No Hasan to speak up against that. Meanwhile, if you're that kind of corrupt outside the government, you get mob hit. No, there's certainly corruption in the Chinese government, just like there's corruption in any other government. Except, hey, you know what? When that corruption goes beyond party interests or goes beyond the interest of like the citizenry, you know what happens? They get executed. How many fucking American politicians have been executed for lobbying? 0. How many American corporations have been executed for poisoning the water supply or poisoning the people directly? 0. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, you're a U.S. citizen with a U.S. passport. Literally nothing will happen if you go to China.
I mean, they are a lot harder on locals than they are on foreigners.
Yeah, that's the case with every country. But
we got caught doing like journalism, even though we came in on tourism visas.
Yeah,
nothing happened.
Like the police were
they're told to leave.
Yeah, but you guys are basically Chinese. You're Australian.
yeah, exactly.
So they probably looked at you guys and they were like, oh, these guys are just our 51st state. Oh, they're from the Australia province. Yeah.
I thought though that China seemed, in terms of what people can do, in some ways more freer than Australia in terms of obviously what you say no, but in terms of what you're allowed to do personally, like fireworks and all that fun stuff, driving rules, I was like way less stricter than Australia, which is crazy.
In America, you mean, or in China?
No, China.
Well, yeah.
That's because Australia's a prison colony.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They call it the Belt and Road Initiative, or BRI, with a total potential investment of around $1.4 trillion. An amount of investment that is more than 7 times larger, even when adjusted for inflation, than America's investment into Europe through the Marshall Plan at the end of the...
Trains get built fast equals good to its citizens, though. Yes, dude. Public transit is unironically one of the fundamental planks.
That is one of the most absurd things we experience coming to America from
this
Australia.
This guy literally just said, what? Infrastructure development? Good to his citizens? What's next? Are you going to say healthcare equals good to his citizens? What's next?
They're American.
Are you going to say education initiatives good to his citizens? That's not what the government's there to do. The government's there to take your tax dollars and directly fund brown baby murder overseas, idiot. The fuck's wrong with you, dumbass? Yeah, no, trains get built fast is good to its citizens. That's like a direct thing that the government's supposed to do.
I like the suggestion with trains get built fast that America's just a little bit slower. Not like not never going to build it.
Yeah.
It's like, we'll do high speed rail eventually. They're just a bit faster than us.
We're doing slow speed rail over here. But also, you don't realize how good public transport is until you have it. If you live in a country that doesn't have it, you're like, well, what are they building those trains for? And then as soon as a city runs properly and you can move around, it affects everything so much.
Yeah.
Makes it beautiful.
Yeah.
And it just makes it accessible for people who don't have money as well. Like, you can't get anywhere in this city unless you can fucking afford Uber or have a car.
Fuck everything up.
You're so wrong about Chinese prosperity. The whole country has only one belt and one road, brother. Fuck you mean?
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. 2008 to 2020 is like just all of the fucking high-speed rail that has been built. Like
high-speed rail is terrifying though. When we were on it. It was
It was
it's
awesome.
like you're on a plane, but like the ground's like right there. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's sick.
I thought it was awesome.
No, it was very cool.
But then you imagine it crashing, you're like, this is the same as a plane.
Yeah.
Remember-
It would just go
Remember when, I mean, maybe you guys are not super up to date with like anti-Chinese propaganda in the United States, but like they used to literally point to this and say that's actually bad. Like they're building the train routes so that they can like they were talking about how like they built a train route, high-speed rail to Xinjiang, and they were like, well, they're doing it to do genocide in Xinjiang.
Well, it's like the rails for the death camps in Europe.
Yeah, connecting the country with like high-speed rail is actually a bad thing because they're gonna do bad things with that.
It reminds me, I was watching some like anti-Cuba thing, and they were talking about how they raised the literacy
Oh,
rate.
yeah.
And like, well, they only did that so people could read the propaganda and become brainwashed.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, they were actually free when they were dumb. Like, I can't say the C word, can I?
Dumb cunts.
Yeah.
You can say the C
Okay.
word. You're Australian. You're
Yeah.
allowed. That's why I'm allowed because I'm Australian. There's a quote which says that the country with the most legislation in the world is the biggest failure. If you need a piece of paper to keep your citizens safe, happy, etc., you have failed somewhere along the way. Who wrote that? Fucking Milton Friedman? Who wrote that line? Yeah. Famously, regulation is really bad. I hate that. 500 protests a day in 2012 in China. Freedom of speech in China.
Wait, but if you're allowed to protest, surely that's... Is that not the thing?
How China stays stable despite 500 protests every day. Dude. An informal practice of within-system dissent has allowed the Communist Party to maintain stability even with thousands of riots and demonstrations. But what happens if the economy falters? This is yet another China is going to fall apart, I promise you, article written by, of course, none other than The Atlantic. And yet, for some reason, it still has not fallen apart since 2012. It's odd. I think what is great about your stream, even though I don't agree with everything you say about China, is you want to see a world free of xenophobia and where there's goodwill between peoples of the world. You are willing to listen and think critically. That's why you're good at what you. Oh, thanks. Any day now, though. Any day. There's going to be fucking mass riots and protests in China that will destroy China completely. It's going to happen. My favorite YouTubers and Redditors keep telling me that.
Second World War. By constructing pipelines that transport energy from other countries into China and railroads and highways that transport manufactured exports out from China to other countries, all traveling over land, Beijing can strategically work towards
Dumb guy here. How is this any different from saying, as long as you fall in line and don't speak out against the government, life in Nazi Germany is actually pretty good. I mean, the trains were always on time. I don't know. Maybe like the entire reason why Nazi Germany was bad is completely irrelevant to China. You get what do you mean? What the fuck?
Yeah, but they rode bicycles.
Yeah,
and they ride bicycles in China.
True.
Like,
come on.
This is very different. Where is the Holocaust, for one? That's a good way to start. Like, I don't know. I don't know if you guys know about that, but that happened. Ay.
overcoming their dependency on the Malacca Strait and the risk posed to it by the American Navy. Central Asia, immediately to the west of China, is an area of critical importance to the Chinese today because they have some of the most enormous reserves of natural gas and oil ever discovered around the basin of the Caspian Sea. The first ever oil pipeline over land that flowed into China was built here only in 2009 from Kazakhstan's oil-rich shore on the Caspian. Running through China's westernmost Xinjiang province, it is capable of supplying 10 million tons of oil a year to China now. And it was only the first. In the very same year, a natural gas pipeline was constructed beginning in the massive gas fields of Turkmenistan. the 6th largest in the world and nearly double all of the gas reserves of China, and leading directly to China through Xinjiang as well. Today, this pipeline enables gas from Turkmenistan to be shipped 7,000 kilometers away over land to power homes and factories in Shanghai.
I mean, China has concentration work camps for the Uyghurs. Yeah, I know. That's, first of all, they did. They don't anymore. That doesn't make it justifiable in any capacity. But a comparison to the Holocaust would be, you know, a little ridiculous. I think even the Holocaust Memorial Museum would not agree with that comparison. You can, like, even when I talk about American concentration camps, American labor camps, we have immigrant detention facilities that do literally that. We have Guantanamo Bay that is, like, specifically a torture prison, right? Specifically a torture prison that is on rented land in Cuba so that it's not, like, it doesn't have to abide by American legal standards, which are already pretty fucking bad. Okay? But your anti-China, your anti-China fervor gets you in, like, Holocaust revisionism territory. How do you actually know they don't have them anymore? I mean, I don't know anything about what happens in China. I can only rely on information from Western outlets. So when I say they're no longer in operation, I'm operating off of what the Associated Press has written. And the Associated Press has no interest in, like, sanitizing what China does, as the Associated Press is a Western institution. It's a Western media outlet, an American media outlet, so it has every interest in further vilifying our foreign adversaries like China. So when they tell me that these re-education camps are no longer in operation, I have no choice but to agree. You know what I mean?
It's more comparable to Indian boarding schools than the Holocaust.
Yeah, I mean, that's still not great. You know what I mean? Like, that's still awful.
Yeah,
it's re-education.
Yeah.
It is more akin to a cultural genocide where they've basically turned in. They took Uyghur separatists that some of which were radicalized in Afghanistan, and utilized that as a cudgel, or utilized that as a reason to basically pacify or Hanify the entirety of this fucking region with incredibly draconian, incredibly brutal methods, including re-education camps, which are completely, wholeheartedly unacceptable. Okay? I'm not minimizing that, but I also am aware of the reality of the U.S. carceral state. You know what I mean? It's fucking ridiculous to make these... it's ridiculous to think that America looks better in comparison.
Yeah.
Is what I mean. You know what I mean?
It was like when we were in Mongolia, there was the thing where I realized, I was like, this used to be Mongolia, and China came in, and a lot of the Mongolians we spoke to didn't like China.
Yeah, we were living with a
Mongolian dudes. A bunch of Mongolians, and they had, like, all the Genghis Khan stuff, but it was all just, like, tourist attractions now. But then I was like, well, at least there's still Mongolians here, like in Australia. When that happens, you just killed every single indigenous person and kicked him out. And I was like, it's still fucked up, obviously, but it's not. Yeah, it's still not as bad.
It's a light version of what we get up to.
Anyway, U.S. is a bigger prison population than China, which is heavily racially biased, and forced labor and literal torture, solitary confinement is very common. The cultural genocide in China is closer to ethnic genocide of African Americans in the U.S. It's just milder and short-lived. No, I mean, I think it's more. It's close. It closely resembles Native American, like indigenous populations, and what America did and what Canada did after they were done genociding. And it's a weird conversation to have when you're like, oh, well, this genocide is worse than this one or whatever. It's like such a stupid fucking conversation to have, because I think we all agree that it is still not good. It's unacceptable. It's bad. It's inhumane. I have never, that's part of the reason why I do worry that I wouldn't be able to get a visa to go to China, because of what I have said about the situation, right? So I find it to be a rather stupid conversation, but I won't sit here and you know, act like this is identical to the Holocaust, or that it's worse than the Holocaust, or whatever the fuck people say on Reddit. Okay.
Entire half of all the gas that Turkmenistan exports abroad now flows through this single pipeline towards China. But these energy projects in Central Asia have become slightly problematic with Russia.
They're lighting
nation
China
who has
on
long
fire.
considered Central Asia to be
I'm gonna go grab my
sphere of
bag and
influence.
stuff and start
More
getting ready.
and more of
You guys
Central
man the
Asia's
ship.
abundant reserves of energy are flowing
South
through
Stream now.
Chinese majority-owned pipelines.
What if violent radicals in that region pose a similar threat to white supremacist gangs in the U.S.? What would you soften your criticism then? I would never be on board with mass surveillance and re-education for all white Americans, just because there are white supremacist gang activity that is like truly threatening secession from the rest of the United States of America. So no, I don't think that there is an apt comparison there. It's just like ridiculous. Do you understand it now? I hope that helps you understand it a little bit better, because violent radicals in the United States of America do threaten, right, the integrity of the nation state. When is your flight leave? Let me give you the exact coordinates.
You had other people asking, "Oh, where are we going?"
Yeah, it's just like we're all going together.
They're all getting in your backpack and
Yeah.
going.
Well, they are technically, because I will be streaming when I'm out there, but it'll be IRL streams.
You got to join the riots when you're out there.
Yeah,
and then you just blame it on chat. Be like, they told me to do it.
Towards China, and less is flowing through Russian-owned pipelines towards Moscow's traditional market in Europe. But Russia is having to accept the increasing Chinese influence in Central Asia, because China is also rapidly becoming the new largest market for Russia's own massive supplies of energy as well. Russia, with by far the largest reserves of natural gas in the world, and the second largest producer of oil in the world, is one of the world's energy superpowers, and is located directly next door to China, the world's largest consumer of basically all forms of energy. A relationship between Moscow selling energy and Beijing buying it was almost always going to be inevitable, simply based on both nations' geography and geology. And sure enough, it's been really starting to kick off. Just 3 years ago in 2019, the Russians completed their first natural gas pipeline into China. The power of Siberia.
What should we watch? Chat,
Yeah, tell us what to watch.
Please. I'm sick of these lines.
We could do current affairs. You guys want
That's
to watch
pretty
current affairs?
fun.
It's pretty fucking funny.
Oh, what do we got?
That's cat videos, gay sex.
Cat videos.
Gay sex is.
I'd rather watch.
Good.
Cat videos are
Chinese movie. I think Hasan wants to watch the.
Yeah,
the
I don't want
Chinese
to steal
movie.
the
We couldn't
Chinese
do that
movie.
to him. Self-sufficient me. Oh, yeah, I've seen Self-Sufficient Me. He's not really political in any way. He's the guy that like look at this tomato plant that I can grow by putting a fish head in my garden bed. That sound interesting to anyone? Punk on Earth is funny.
Wait, is that what they said?
Yeah, but we can't watch that, I reckon. Well, I don't know how.
Yeah, it's like Netflix.
How Gangnam Style?
Music video.
Aleksa does love that. Why does it only have 6 million views?
It's Miranda Sings. It's doing fake Korean.
Okay, it's not her doing blackface.
That's the other one.
Porn reacts.
Porn reacts.
Give us
That'll be so much fun if only. Oh,
the password game.
or we type in our password.
I don't know
Interrupt
who you
video
are.
block.
We don't know Hasan's passwords. Don't.
90s Marxist rap.
See, they know how to get you.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
something CBC.
Okay.
And he's like, oh, I'll watch this.
We should watch it. No, I've already opened
Have
it.
you heard of I Do Something? That's like his mum called my channel.
Look what I done.
Look what I done.
She was right.
There it is, the name of my channel.
Man, I could just stare at chat for like forever.
Yeah, it is weird.
It just is never a dull moment. It just keeps happening.
But then it's like a self-fulfilling thing as well, because you comment on chat and then chat
you
comments
come
on that, and then it's
I feel like they're staring at us. They're staring back.
Yo,
Okay,
that's
let's
fucking
stop,
freaky.
stop looking.
Yeah, that is weird. You're learning what the emojis mean as well.
What does the staring mean? It's just looking at us?
Yeah, that one's good. I like that one.
Which one? This one?
Yeah, you know that my favorite one that I learned the other day was this one. Oh, the horny one. Like the horny one. Where they whip their eyes open.
That's how is that horny? That's so bad.
He described that as being better than that. Current affairs could be pretty fun.
What about prank invasion?
I don't know. Hasan, can we watch people kissing? Can we watch kissing on Twitch?
Can we watch kissing? Yes.
We watch the button all the time. The button's not.
Do they kiss on the button?
Kissing.
I want to watch the button. That's very fun.
Has Hasan ever watched the button?
He said he didn't like it that much. That's just Hasan. He's emotionless.
People saying me and who? Or can we watch kissing? You can watch PG-13 stuff.
I guess it was made for kids.
Yeah.
Watch this.
I reckon we do current affairs or prank invasion. Prank invasion, though, there's not that much to comment about.
It's just one of the craziest things I've ever seen, though. But I don't think it exists anymore. Didn't he get taken down?
Yeah, but I don't want to get Hasan banned.
Oh, yeah.
Watch the Nah video.
Nah. Man, it's paralyzing.
So everyone telling us to fart on Kaya. If we fart on Kaya, I don't think Kaya has a microphone. You're not going to know.
Oh, we're going to pretend to. No.
We could just pretend to. Just crouch over her and then... Yeah, stop telling them. We're not going to fart on Kaya.
I will, but not on stream. And I have.
He has, but not on stream. There can't be proof of it. So we've heard you, and we're doing it later.
Oh, no. So scary.
What do you want? Current affairs pretty fucking funny.
Current affair? Okay.
Let's do current affair.
Okay. I'll take you guys to the world of Australian news.
And maybe we could type best of current affair. Does anyone, any Aussies watching, does anyone have any great current affair?
I like the noisy
clips?
I like the noisy bridge.
Noisy bridge is funny, but what about the bin wars?
The bin wars, yeah.
Bin wars is great.
Or the one from the guy who like does hair extensions and takes people's money.
Oh, what about no. Horny monk. Horny
monk.
Horny monk.
Yeah.
So to give you guys an understanding of what current affairs is, our
just Sophie Monk.
Sophie Monk. There's not much happening in Australia, so our news is desperate for any story and likes to vilify anyone for the most mundane disruption. Sexyland.
So yeah, it's just really shit like news, entertainment. Mainly the angle is that they make fun of poor people.
They do.
It's like
it's usually poor on poor.
Like so, like the two neighbors in like a real low socioeconomic area. Like one of them, like I don't know, puts the bins in the wrong spot, and then they're about to kill each other, and then a news cameraman comes in and says, "Do it, hit him!"
Yeah, no, it's like Jerry. It's like Jerry Springer. It's exactly like
it's Jerry Springer, but it's treated more as news. Like it comes on like at prime time with all the other news channels. Okay, let's go Sexyland.
Let's go Sexyland.
Now here's something you don't hear every day.
Wait, we need subtitles because Americans don't understand these correctly.
Do we full screen it, guys?
No.
Or do we leave it there?
I think he left it like this. If you full screen it, it's going to cover shat.
Yeah, I like it how our news start. Now here's something.
Yeah, hey, look at this.
What
about? How you going?
How you going?
Now here's something you don't hear every day. The Buddhist monk allegedly shopping at Sexyland.
Sexyland.
Worshippers want him out of the temple.
What I want to know is, she says worshippers want him out of the temple. Does that mean someone found out and then was like, I need to tell current affair?
Yeah.
This is a
No. You
story.
misunderstood it. Worshippers and temple. Temple is Sexyland. Everyone's like, we don't want monks here. That shit's creepy.
Yep.
These guys like molest children. We're just here to bat off.
Yeah. We want the Dalai Lama coming in and kissing kids on the tongue.
Dude, Dalai Lama is the CEO of Sexyland. Are you serious? Running, sprinting to catch the priest.
Hello, Venerable Chet.
You should feel ashamed of yourself.
Venerable Chet, it's Sam Cucchiara from A Current Affair.
They caught him batting off. Wait, how are they in his house?
Who let him in?
He's just like, what?
But also, you can't do this in America.
Oh, they'll just shoot you.
They'll just shoot you.
Yeah.
The news home invaded this man.
They always do it on Current Affair. You don't realize how unique that is to Australia. Just like home invasions.
Yeah.
In the temple,
Have you sinned, sir?
a monk
He's bad. He's no good.
accused of going off the rails
He's a bad man. He's a big liar.
and holed up inside.
They want him to leave.
Oh, he's a Cambodian monk.
Can I ask you why you were at Sexyland? What were you buying there?
You get the sense this
But also,
monk is-
Sexyland is like the worst name for a sex shop. It seems like what if a monk was trying to guess like what a sexy place would sound like? They'd be
Yeah.
like, Sexyland.
But that's probably how he found it. He probably typed Sexyland on Google.
And it's like 200 kilometers away from his house. Like, oh, I guess this is where I gotta go.
Yeah. It's people saying this is what Inside Edition is like. In the
Okay, Inside Edition is
There
this.
are shows like this.
A Chaser Affair is good. Used to work for the Chaser.
Yep.
isn't very well liked.
Yeah, just let him jack
around
off.
Here.
This isn't illegal.
They don't want to respect him anymore.
Oh, wait. People saying you can't show sex toys. I don't think
they go into Sexyland.
I hope they go into Sexyland. That's the thing. Is being horny not allowed?
Not if you're a Buddhist.
If you're
only allowed to kiss kids and suck their tongue.
It's
Not allowed.
very
You're not allowed
different.
to.
Not in
look
a
at
horny
porn.
way.
No.
Well, let's watch. If there's sex
Doesn't
toys,
look like there is.
If there's sex
So what?
toys,
So what? Hasan gets banned. Well,
yeah. So what? Then we can finally go home.
Yeah.
It's great.
A Cambodian temple in Thomastown in Melbourne's northern suburbs. A peaceful place of prayer, now the stage for a bitter Buddhist blow-up. Venerable Hoot
They
Chet-
love alliteration and shitty puns.
Yep.
Like every single line is a pun. It's so stupid. It's a Buddhist blow-ups. I gotta act quick.
I say so. Just change to a tab of
Chet
someone else.
versus his own people.
Everything he destroyed the community. The community very angry, very frustrated.
He like to take all the money from the people.
Parishioners
And
want
spend it. I mean, that's what organized religion is.
Yeah.
Come on. Don't be like, now that he goes to a sex shop, suddenly you got a problem with like priests taking your money.
Yeah, but I can understand how they have a problem. No, not Sexyland, but taking their money.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very fair
That's
to be
what
upset
that's
about
what every
that.
religion does.
Yeah, but just because every other church does it, what you think monks should just be like, yep, what about them guys? Now these guys know how to... Oh, that's about us. See?
their accused unholy leader out arrived to record a prayer. Their
Dude, the subs sometimes are so bad for Australia. It just doesn't understand anything.
No.
They're wholly later out. Shoes off. My kind of house. I should be a monk.
monk in tow.
I know you're here. I know you're inside the house. Please open the door.
No answer, so they're forced to pray in the carport.
So as the committee members, you all...
Please come out of the house.
Please open the door for us. And he's just furiously inside,
Batting
jacking off.
This was... Oh, no. Okay, never mind.
Could be allowed in
Yeah.
at any time you like.
Yeah. Hello? What about your house?
Are you getting ready to change the tab in case
Then
it's just all
someone
dildos
inside calls police.
Oh.
Why do you lock the door? Why you lock the gate and not allow all the people to come in?
Yeah,
What for?
sure. Yeah.
This is our community.
I don't think I've ever been that horny that I've locked the entire house and not let anyone in because I'm like, this is my house now.
I have to have a bat in every room.
In every room.
Sprinting around the house. Just like, tuck, tuck, tuck, tuck, tuck.
People are saying don't lie.
We live in the same house. If he locks the doors, I'm locked in with this masturbating maniac.
Please change the stream title to Farting on Kaya. Someone just suggested.
Oh, I don't know how to do it.
We don't know how to change
I'm gonna
it.
end up deleting the stream. I can't fuck with that stuff. It's too scary.
People said, I swear these guys are at the house every day. Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We live here.
When he goes, we're locking all the doors. And you know what we're gonna be doing?
We don't want to say, but
His alleged wicked ways were laid bare in a Supreme Court showdown, with the judge giving him his monastic marching orders as head of the temple in an interim ruling. The monk's also accused of breaking his celibacy vow by visiting a lady friend and spending nights alone in her room.
but that alone,
so
alone.
hot.
The definition of alone is she's not there.
Yeah.
So that's not breaking. You can sleep alone in someone's room.
Yeah. Wait, but if there were two monks, if it was a threesome, then it'll be fine. If he wasn't alone.
What?
But they're saying alone in the room as in it's just this monk and lady
Yep.
friend.
Yep.
If there were two monks, then like a little threesome kind of thing.
That would be fine.
That would be fine.
Because then they're supervising each
Yeah.
other. Are you Hasan's lovers? We're trying to get there.
It's hard. It's a hard nut to crack. It's a hard man to nut.
Shaking up with a woman.
He's shacking up with a woman.
Shaking up.
Worshippers also claimed they discovered money was missing. The monk's bank records show he received almost $250,000 over
Whoa.
5 years,
Oh.
despite
Wait,
having
wait,
no...
wait, what is that? A quarter? 5 years, 50,000 a year.
50,000 a year in American. That's 30,000 a year.
That's just on or under median income.
That's
in
under
Australia.
median,
Like,
but this could be
on top of
auxiliary.
what he's getting paid.
Yeah,
supplementary to his income.
supplementary. Well, that is a lot.
apparent access to cash funds other than donations made to the temple.
Look at stream title,
He's
Aussies.
forbidden from paid
No, they're
employment
trying to make us
and has
change the
denounced
name. I
worldly
can't.
But maybe
goods,
someone already
but
changed it
it
without
didn't
our
stop
knowledge.
him receiving New
That how
Stars
streams work?
and JobKeeper.
I don't know how Hasan's fucking the whole global operation
I'm
functions.
scared to touch anything. It's called fighting on Kaya. Someone changed it to fighting on Kaya.
Who has this power?
Who has this power?
What is going on? Does Hasan even do anything here? Is he real? Or is he just like a conglomerate of like 20 people?
Okay. People didn't do it. She's sleeping so peacefully.
Do it.
The thing is, if I honestly build up a fight,
I'll do it.
I will do it.
It's hard because I just need to pee now. And if I feel like if I try to fart too much, it'll just be a stream of me peeing my pants, which I assume
Is what streaming
illegal.
is.
Illegal. On
Oh, I thought
Twitch.
that's what streaming was.
So, what would a monk need to buy? According to allegations in court, lottery tickets, hotel accommodation, flights, and he's even suspected of funneling cash to a new Buddhist association he set up.
I heard that he go to Sexyland, with the girls.
Oh yes, there's that
Oh,
too.
yes.
The monk allegedly splurging hundreds on adult material, claims he strongly denies.
What were you buying there?
No, I have no idea.
You're a monk, sir. Should you be doing this?
It's hand sanitizer. I thought it was lube.
Ah.
I thought they got him on camera. To be fair, like if he's pocketing that much money, it doesn't look like he's living in luxury. Like,
No. But this might be his room in the temple. Because I think this was
that's
the
probably how
temple.
they got in.
That's probably how they got in.
Idea.
Do you reckon this is good advertising for Sexyland?
Yeah.
I would be very happy if I was like, Sexyland is so naughty, it even turns monks. Monks are coming here.
Yes, this is because like a lot of the current affair things is just product placement.
Yeah.
Like it's like which cereal is the healthiest for your kids, or which cereal do your kids love the taste of the most, and it's like brought to you by Cocoa Pops.
Yeah,
that's this.
But also, I like it that these Western people that come in and start that obviously just like these men would all snort coke and have sex with strippers, and then they come here and they're like, "You went to Sexyland.
You visited a sex shop.
You
once.
dickhead."
Pretty naughty.
According to Buddhist rule, he committed a lot of evil things.
You've lost the confidence of your own community members. They don't want you here, sir.
Yes, sorry for that.
They want me here though. They want me running through this house. Okay, but you bloody. Oh, hello.
Hello.
It's good.
We
weren't
watching
doing
something
anything.
else. We weren't doing anything else.
What are you guys watching?
A current affair.
Current affair.
Taken to court after accusations you splurged at Sexyland? What the fuck? When you said a current affair, I thought you meant like literally, current affairs. Like
No,
This
it's
is
like
current affairs.
It's like a like news entertainment in Australia. Great.
Have you stolen money?
No.
They said something. What was it?
Inside events. Inside.
Ugh.
They said what?
I said something.
What are you doing? Oh, you're.
Oh, that's me.
Sorry. Damn, views went down, bro, when I left. What are you guys doing?
No, it didn't.
No.
25. That's up.
No.
I'm pretty sure it was on like 7,000 when you left.
Yeah. Was it?
Yep.
I feel like we should have waited for Hasan though to watch Current Affair.
You see the title?
The thing
What
is,
the title?
we
Big drama. The Aussies farted on Kaya. What? Broy.
You're gonna have to watch.
Not fart on Kaya. Broy.
Should ask her.
Who can do this? Who can change the title?
Mods can.
Ah.
So much power.
I thought Hasan was doing it up on like his phone in his room. He was like,
yeah, he wants us to fart on Kaya.
Yeah.
Apparently you're slouching, Alex.
That's very nice. The chat does posture
Wait, is
check.
it? Check that. Is that Tamron?
No, it's Sony.
No, I think this is like
Mine.
Marches, I think. Wait, how do you... Wait, why is this stuck?
Oh, no, you twist it off. Right.
Oh.
There you go. Do you want it?
Yeah.
Put it on.
No, I'll put it on this. That's your lens.
Which one's mine? Oh, that's mine. Sick.
This is yours.
Okay.
So let's get this.
Put it
camera
on.
back
Put it on that.
You keep watching Sexyland.
Sexyland.
Don't forget about the house he bought. The monk telling the bank he runs an online retail business with an income of almost $100,000 a year.
Pretend that's a lot.
Own house.
It's a lot compared to the median income of
It
Australia.
is, but that's $70,000
Back
it's not
at the temple,
outrageous
where
to
you
put it
think
in
military
a hit
secrets
piece
were
on
being
someone.
kept. Good luck getting past
Man, you
the
love
padlocked
defending rich
gates, all the
religious
cameras,
guys. I really
and the
do.
keypad on the monk's private room.
They change the lock, they change the keys, everything.
Had a keypad on
Venerable
his private
Chet
room.
doesn't
We saw that
own
when
the
he left,
house,
when he
the
closed the
committee
thing.
does.
I come to pray for my grandma passed away. Not allow me to go in.
Mahasal News in morning.
Imagine your
So I
relative
can
dies
pray
and you can't pray because
the
someone's
last
wanking.
And yeah, I can't get in because I don't know why.
He's upset about all the cash he's donated.
Especially me, my family, $60 a month.
You took a vow not
I
to...
mean, that's just you being an idiot. Like, come on. 60. Oh, God.
It is a weird thing to pay for, 60.
It's like I didn't cancel my gym membership. Oh,
yeah.
Lie not to steal, not to have sexual relations. Have you broken
No,
those
100k is
vows,
definitely
sir?
still a lot, but I'm saying it's not a lot
He
as like
denies
a
he has,
figure for a hit
professing he's
piece.
never.
I mean, yeah, if the guy's being accused of like corruption, unless he's just bad at it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'd be very comfortable with that amount of money.
Had a sexual relationship while ordained or stolen any money.
Is this a new age form of Buddhism, sir?
Whose kink is it to have sex with a monk? You know, there's someone there. There's a lady.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that they have a kink. You can,
but you know it's naughty. Like no one. There's not just a person being like, "Oh, you're a monk. Oh, well, let's continue having sex." It's no, I know you're a monk. What we're doing is like really red hot.
Yeah, but they might not be like super attracted to it. It could just be like, oh yeah, it's the guy again. Not, I'm going to have sex with this guy because he's a monk.
Dress. I just don't think you can ignore that and assume it's a normal.
It is a weird thing to think.
Come on.
Never have any something like that.
Yuhorn Chia is president of the Cambodian Association of Victoria.
You're racist, huh?
If he did something wrong, he can't stay as a Buddhist monk anymore. How should someone wear the
Yeah,
robe,
you're right.
the yellow robe, go to the Sexyland? It's not possible.
Oh, I feel bad for
It
them.
is very
It
sad.
is really bad because it's
but it's just the fact that it's called Sexyland.
Yeah,
it's I don't know.
Yeah. So he should have removed the robe first.
Yeah, gone in naked.
Completely naked.
Was it sexy?
No.
Ordered to vacate the temple by
This guy's kinda
August 12, but he's managed to convince a judge twice to extend that, claiming he's in the middle of practicing a religious meditation ritual and he plans to appeal.
That's such a good reason to not go to court. Sorry, I'm meditating.
Sorry, I'm
getting in touch with my inner self.
I'm levitating here.
He's meditating in Sexyland.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's getting in touch with his inner sexy self.
Is jacking off meditating in a way?
Probably.
You're very zen. I think so.
something these worshippers believe is a stalling tactic.
You try your best.
Hey, come on. You believe in the religion. That's, I don't know. It's all crumbling.
For second chance to appear.
But all of religion's
in
a
court.
stalling tactic to death.
Good luck.
You know?
Why won't you leave? You've got a homemade calendar that you've purchased.
Mr. Reddit.
Go there.
Yo, wait a minute, man.
let me preach.
That was sick.
Yeah, sick. I should go now. That was the best thing I can ever say.
I love, I left this broadcast in good hands.
You know what makes me feel grounded is to know that I'm just a speck of stardust in like a galaxy of billions.
We're all made of suns.
Yeah.
We lost viewers because of that. Because of my,
Wait,
my
really?
comment.
Like 20,000 missing.
Divine intervention will help him now as he waits for his day in court.
You must leave the temple now.
The dispute is scheduled to be back before the courts later this month.
You know the really good thing about current affairs, they always take a deep breath before they start.
Now, here's something you don't...
And
it's fucking terrifying. They can...
Well,
let's go bin wars.
Yep, more current affairs.
Well, it's one of the guys, one of the journalists at a current affair is called Brody something or something Brody.
Yep.
They always bring him in when they're making fun of old people.
Oh yeah, he's good. He's good.
For most of us, it's a weekly ritual that's pretty uneventful. But bin night for these residents usually results in an almighty neighbourhood blow-up.
Wait, did she do the thing?
For most of us, it's a weekly ritual that's pretty uneventful. But bin night for these residents usually results in an almighty neighbourhood.
I think it's like, I think the people writing it are being a bit funny, but I think the people watching it are very like emotionally drawn to the stories.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is real news. Like it's often about, like the big topics are like poor people who are scamming the system by like getting welfare.
Yeah.
And then everyone watches it, it's like, oh, those motherfuckers.
Oh,
Like-
so wait, but there are real stories.
They're real
They're real.
stories.
They're real.
Yeah. It's just like really shitty, like what would you compare it to?
Exploitative.
Like Daily Mail kind of, but
It's like Jerry Springer slash.
I thought it was fake. I thought it was like the day-to-day, which is like fake.
No, it's all real.
Intended with like satirical purpose.
No, it's all
Local
it's all
interest
real.
stories.
Yeah.
Brady Hall. Thank you.
Who's Brady Hall?
That's the guy. That's the fun. That's who I said was Brody.
Ah.
That's amazing knowledge. That's so niche. Brady Hall is my favorite current affairs presenter.
Would blow up. Unable to resolve their wheelie bin in blue, they contacted us.
It's garbage night at number 58.
So good having.
Now, look, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the gentleman.
Straight and tell the story correctly. Because you're not.
And trouble is brewing once again.
I would love to be that journalist and just be in between two old people being like, yes.
We got to the bottom of it.
And this is not okay
No, I'm not
because
talking
you're
to
the
you.
one that rings the manager every time. Has my mum ever rung the manager? No.
No.
Am
I
touching yours? So what?
The bin Barney has come to a head.
Judith, the bins only go out once a week and at night time.
I know exactly right.
Welcome to Stockland Retirement Village at Campbelltown, south of Sydney.
Brady, for 8 years I've lived peacefully in this village. It's a lovely...
I mean, it's weird. So this woman's like reaching out to a current affair to like resolve this wrong. She's completely oblivious that they're ridiculing her the entire time.
Yeah.
Like it's so insane seeing her be like, they're gonna solve my problem.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Where-
it's like it's a feud, right? On
Between
bin
retirees.
day, I think one of the retirees is putting their bins like closer to the other person's property.
place to be in.
Where Judith Bond enjoys every hour, except those when her bins are out front.
No, I feel bad for saying it because I feel like these people have no problems in their life.
No.
This is the thing they're focusing on.
Yeah, and
it's
so
bin
they
day.
have moved
Bin day. Fucking bin day.
they
Garbage
moved the
day.
bins from the grass to the driveway.
Is that what you guys don't call it bin day? You guys call it garbage day?
What do you call bin day?
It's garbage day.
Garbage day? No, bin day.
Bin day.
Bin day seems
Trash day? No, bin day.
seems much better, much nicer.
That's pretty good.
Much nicer, mate. Ooh, I'm I'm seeing
Have you ever sat there?
a different
Have you ever sat
perspective.
there?
No.
Oh my god, I feel so much power.
But also, Alexa's bigger now than all of us.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of makes my head smaller for some reason. What is going on?
Yeah. How do you like that, dude? There you go. How do you like them apples? It's real. It's real. You know what I'm actually worried about? I'm gonna get on a fucking plane and like they always do the random swab test for me for some reason, right? And I'm actually a little worried that they're gonna do the random swab test on me, and then this time I have handled explosives.
Fireworks.
But you have a reason, and so does all of America. It's
4th of July.
Yeah, I don't think they give a fuck, especially when you're caught on random swab test. I don't know.
You should wear one of your Trump shirts.
Yep, that would actually help.
Probably.
Or just an I Love TSA shirt.
Oh yeah,
be fine.
Do they exist?
They must.
I don't think anybody loves the TSA, so probably not.
That is a concern because that blocks the way for any emergency services that need to come in to residents in this area.
And that is a concern because they're all
in a
old,
cul-de-sac
they're dying.
off the main road. And this here is common property in the estate.
Yes, we don't have to look after it. Management take care of it. Yes.
Oh, it's a homeowners association dispute. It's the
here for days on end or anything, are you?
I'm the first to bring it in, and I will often bring in neighbours.
Except George's next door, where the problem lies.
Between this and that.
Sorry, could you just what the bin should go here?
Yes.
Is it the end of the world if it does go there?
Bin placement is paramount at this end of the street.
It's paramount.
Upsetting not only Judith,
fucking
but her daughter.
paramount.
I love the B-roll they use for this. They're like, okay, you're going to sit in the room and we're just going to come in multiple times, just film you looking out the window, okay?
Look out the window like your husband is returning from war. Is the shot we want.
You don't understand. The bin placement is fucking paramount. It's paramount, mate. You're laughing. It's fucking bin day, and you're laughing.
The bin here.
We got a new character.
Hang on.
Really?
She put the bins up there. And
Oh, she wants to throw hands.
In late, World War III
thinking as well.
That
old man
garbage bin.
What? No. Okay, this is the greatest. Okay, you're right.
It is a
such
good show.
a good show.
This is the greatest news program of all time.
Well, the editors are definitely having fun. We're how can we make this dramatic? The music, the bins, the zooms.
Dude, that's fire, dude. What the fuck?
I wonder if we're going to find out where George is from. I bet he's Greek.
In the end,
it's 100% Greek behavior.
Whoa.
What is his racism?
His name's George. He's got a beautifully manicured lawn and he's got little statues.
He's got little statues.
He's Greek.
Wait, what? Is that like a Greek meta? What?
Yeah, no, it is. Also, the
like
tomato
white
plants.
marble.
The tomato plants is a very Greek thing.
I mean, he could be another kind of European, but the fact that his name's George, it has to be Greek.
Is that a Greek meta?
It's very Balkan of you to immediately make racial assumptions.
We were talking about this before. Balkan race
George
science.
Greek.
Balkan racism is the most advanced in the world.
Yeah, more because like we were talking about American racism, which is like not as advanced because it's like, oh, you're black or you like are black adjacent because you're brown, right? And ooh, I'm scared. And then you come to Europe and it's like obviously that still exists, but in Europe it's like more advanced because it's like, oh, like we're cousins and we both fuck each other and fuck one another's cousins all the time and we kind of look like one another, but like you have to figure out like whether they're French or German or whatever to like adequately call them the right ethnic slur. And then in the Balkans, it's just the same people.
We're all completely
Everyone
identical.
looks the same. Everyone sounds the same.
The same customs.
They dress the same. They just and so that's why the Balkan racism is the most advanced form of racism because it's like the hardest to distinguish.
You have to be so perceptive to pull off a good slur.
Yeah, which is why you immediately were like, "That's a Greek, right?
That's
man.
a Greek guy.
Fucking Greeks."
I fertilize the grass and I make sure that the grass is nice.
And might I say,
wait, what is it? Someone said, wait, go up. Someone said studies say Serbs are the least anti-black nation in Europe. They're too busy hating Bosnians and Croats.
It's true though. We're the least anti-black.
Our racism is capped out.
There is a part of the brain. I think it's the amygdala. It does racism, and ours is just like overflowing.
Yeah, you have to be.
That is why your head's so big.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to be tremendously perceptive to be able to, you know, adequately nail exactly what race they are when they're so similar. Sorry for saying that they're similar. They're all Turks at the end of the day. Everybody knows.
Well, they're
this.
all Serbs.
Yeah.
Anyway, tired of bins going on her driveway, Judith ramped it up a notch.
Everyone's Albanian.
We've had it here for over 8 years. Free water, free water. So what?
And decided to film the weekly happenings as evidence.
And I'm there, stepping back, recording it.
Sorry, what?
As 3 staff members march up from the office.
Go.
Yes,
There you go.
they are 3 management types from
Well, I'm
village
glad we got to
headquarters.
show you a little bit of current affairs.
Yeah. It's like there's just so much good stuff.
Yeah.
Although this stuff has been pretty benign. Usually it's like very.
Wait, what do you mean? I thought none of it's Paramount. It's fucking been that. What do you mean it's fucking benign? What do you mean it's fucking benign? Love you guys. And here, why don't you hit that 3-minute ad break button right there? Yep. Yeah, there you go. Okay, that's the last ad break of today. Tomorrow when I go live, I will be going live from France. Hopefully I'll be able to go live. I'm gonna be landing there like you know, in the afternoon. And I think TwitchCon starts tomorrow. If it doesn't, I don't fucking know. We'll figure it out. If it doesn't start tomorrow, then I'll probably do like a Paris, France stream or something potentially. But going forward until I come back, it's gonna be all IRL streams for the most part because like unfortunately Twitch could not offer me a base of operations or a PC. But I'm leaving my house and my dog in the greatest hands. You know,
we're gonna fart on Kyle.
They're gonna fart on her so much. They have no fucking clue what they need to do. I gotta update them as well.
The fuck thing is, we have a dog at home as well.
Yeah,
so we definitely know how to keep a dog alive.
Yeah, barely.
Is that dog alive still?
Here, hit the just camming button right there on the OBS. OBS, yeah, go left, up. There you go. Click on that. There you go.
Oh, we're just camming.
Yeah, we're just camming full screen now. And yeah, I'll see you guys. I'm gonna go give Kai a big smooch, give her a big bye-bye. And I'm gonna be out on my way. I'm gonna head out on my way. But as always, love you guys. Thank you to the Aussies for joining. I mean, they're still here. When I come back, we'll keep making content together as always. So, yeah. And that's it for now. I'm going to hit the stop streaming button now on the blue one. And we'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.